ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Occitanie, Betway, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, and PaySafeCard.
These are those moments I don't think anybody else is going to forget.
It's the final day of ESL Pro League here in Oceania, in Asia, and in ANZ. Unfortunately, we've only got the one more match to go, Pilly, but it is going to be a good match. And the great thing about it as well is that heading into this final match, there is a lot to play for both Grayhound and for Order. It's been the case during the season at times that we've gotten towards the end of each relevant round where the matches haven't necessarily mattered so much. But this one, everything on the line.
Yeah, usually they haven't really mattered much in almost every group, like mostly the Asia groups and stuff like that. But in this group in particular, Order versus Grayhound, it's not even just the overall series that matters. It's the map wins, it's the round diff, everything.
Yep, literally every single map going to be important tonight. Obviously, we've been talking about our match. Here is what is coming up for you guys tonight. As I said, Grayhound and Order, our only match for tonight. Again, unfortunately, because Atletico have forfeited this entire season, their matches are, well, not being played and also not relevant to the discussion. But tonight, to give some context as to how things are going to play out, obviously we're looking at Grayhound, we're looking at Order. Two of the best teams in the region, definitely two within the top three. Where you want to place them all, that remains to be seen. Perhaps tonight's result is going to change some opinions, but for Order it's a pretty difficult task looking at it on paper. Grayhound 2-0 Chiefs last night. Order lost to the Chiefs earlier on in this season. So it really does look like the only world in which Order is actually able to go through here today is if they get a 2-0 over Grayhound.
And these kind of qualifiers always change the projections of the teams in terms of what their expectations are, whether you're a team that's actually seeking some presence on the international stage or whether you have missed out on those opportunities and you have to look forward to something like ANZ and just try to win that.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look at all of yesterday's matches as well, Pilly, while we discuss things. Obviously, that was the match that we got to see between Grayhound and Chiefs. And look, it kind of started off looking pretty interesting. It seemed like Chiefs might be able to make something of it, as at least I thought could have been the case during the pre-show. You were quite staunch on the Grayhound side, but I was thinking, you know what? Chiefs, they played pretty well at IEM Sydney. They looked pretty decent. And coming into Dust 2, it actually looked like they probably should close it out in their favour, but much as we have seen in the past, Grayhound, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Up 15-11, Chiefs couldn't close it out. Then we got to overtime, and Grayhound won map 1, and then I guess map 2 was, so to speak, history, going very, very quickly by the wayside for the Chiefs, and it ended up being that 2-0 for Grayhound.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same sort of story that we used to see from this matchup, and it's not like Chiefs haven't improved. It's not like they didn't have their opportunities to either A, even win this series. I don't know, with how convincing Overpass looked, even though we know that Chiefs can play it a little bit, I feel like this would have probably gone the way of Grayhound, which would lead to Nuke, which is a map that Chiefs again can play pretty well. Maybe if they got Dust 2 over the line, we would have seen a closer series, particularly on the second map, and then heading into the third map, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be. Chiefs, they missed out on that massive opportunity on Dust 2. They couldn't close out their lead, and unfortunately a team like Grayhound is going to punish you for it. Not many other teams will have what it takes to do that.
And losing that match is going to mean that Chiefs aren't going to be able to qualify through, regardless of the result tonight. Even though you see them sitting up there at number 1, you got to remember Grayhound and Order still do have a match to play. Look, it is going to be pretty interesting to see how this one actually does turn out. Given the fact that Order has been the team that has challenged Grayhound a little bit more so, I will say, than the Chiefs have in the past. But if we look back at the previous results between the two teams, it doesn't really bode too well, I don't think, for Order. They've lost most of the best of threes, especially the relevant best of threes. You know, there was the win for Order in MDL over Grayhound in a best of 3 earlier on this year, but when you look at the relevance of that particular match compared to some of the matches that are qualifying you for the likes of IEM Sydney and etc., that kind of thing, it's always been the way of Grayhound. So in like the quote-unquote big matches, Grayhound have been the ones to kind of step up. But this is another one of those big matches and another opportunity for Order to kind of get the ball over the line. I think if there is any team that's going to beat Grayhound in the region right now, I would probably say it is going to be Order, especially given the result last night of Chiefs. They just seem to have a little bit of a better matchup against Greyhound than what Chiefs do.
They do, and then Chiefs have the matchup against Order. It kind of seems like, even though Order definitely could have won that game, but there can't be any, should have, would have, could have for Order tonight. They need to take this upset over Greyhound, or they're not going through to Pro League Finals, and Greyhound is.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of going through to Pro League Finals, this is how it all pans out. We're quite close to the end of the season here for Season 9, but earlier on in the month, or even last month actually, we were able to have a look at all of those 4 groups, groups A and D being the ANZ representations, and B and C being Southeast Asia, and then China, or Greater China, which included MVP from Korea, incidentally. Last week we saw Tyloo being able to pick up their qualification spot for Occitane, and dispatching of MVP fairly handedly in the end. And then obviously, at the moment, we are taking a quick look at Greyhound and Order, who are the last 2 remaining teams here from round 2, being the ANZ Division 1 spot left. And, I don't think any of these teams have ever actually been to France, so that'll be something new. They've been all around the world, lots of places, particularly like Poland, USA, a lot. But Occitane, definitely something new.
Definitely is, and I would say that you'd be looking at Order and Greyhound being the main representatives going through to Pro League Finals previously, and most of those international tournament opportunities, although you have seen Chiefs and stuff like WESG and most of the IEM Sydneys as well.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting point that you make, though, particularly about the Pro League Finals. If we go back, at least the last 3 Pro League seasons have been Greyhound, Order, and Greyhound, I'm pretty sure, the last 3. So we haven't seen Chiefs ever go to a Pro League Finals in my memory. Tainted Minds certainly never were able to qualify for a Pro League final. So this has been a bit of a stranglehold actually between Order and between Greyhound, and once again they're going to be securing their place through. It sort of feels very similar to like MVP and Tyloo over on the Asian side of things. They're always the 2 teams that are fighting for those Pro League berths, and in ANZ it's Greyhound and Order, which is interesting because you know Chiefs have been up towards the top of things for such a long time as well, but they've never quite been able to do it, at least in Pro League.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the whole deal is there, but I guess it's just, whatever team sort of turns up to the competition in particular, and sometimes Chiefs play a little bit better on those LAN environments and at the national events, but these teams are better at qualifying through the online qualifiers to these Tier 1 tournaments.
Well, that's where we're at right now. We're going to head to a quick break. We do have, of course, our match coming up shortly. It's Order and Greyhound, with it all to play for a spot at Occitane on the line in today's match. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this.
Champions of ESL 1 Cologne.
Do you remember?
Welcome to the Cathedral of Counter-Strike.
Think you've seen it all?
Are you ready to be a part of Counter-Strike history?
ESL 1 returns to Cologne in 2019.
Think you can't clutch through a smoke while recording in full resolution and streaming the play to the world? Watch this.
Counter-terrorists win.
Think you can't get famous in a flash? Like become your own meme famous? Watch this. Think he's been there, done that? With Intel Core i7, he's just getting started. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Bon spectacle.
I've been there since the beginning. Every map, every frag, every moment. I run, but I never hide. With knowledge comes power, and power is to be wielded wisely. which is why, as the expert, I bet with Betway. If you know CSGO, then you'll know the best way to bet on esports is with Betway, for the love of the game.
This is Game Fuel. It's domination in a can. Tastes like loser tears.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk away, walk away, walk on, baby. Walk on, baby.
Hello guys, I'm Zantares. I'm now playing Aim Challenge. Okay boys, last time.
Nice. Oh, nice. Good. That's good. Let's go, baby! Oh.
Last try. No. No way. Thanks for watching, boys, and don't forget subs midway. Bye bye.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Occitanie, Betway, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, and PaySafeCard.
G'day everyone, welcome back. It's ESL Pro League for the last day here in ANZ and in Oceania and Asia in general. Selfish Guy and Pilly, and we're talking about our only match for today and our last match, of course, for the season. And quite an important match as well. It is Grayhound and Order. We're going to take a quick look at the two rosters here, Pilly. It's not going to be too big of a surprise as to who's going to be rolling out into the server tonight, but what are we looking at when we look at these two rosters? Like, where's the difference? Who do you see as being the key players for tonight, and what do we expect to see out of this match?
I think we know what we're going to get out of Grayhound. The only player that could be a massive difference maker for them in terms of whether they just dominate the opponent or whether it's a much closer series is whether Dick Stacey has like an unbelievable performance on one of the maps, because usually when the man's fragging on the T side in particular, he's making it about 10 times easier for the rest of his teammates and getting some pretty key important frags. Over on the Order side, I'd have to say that whenever Order does a big lift and actually wins a best-of-3 series that they're not necessarily expected to win, it's got to be a massive performance out of Inz and Alistair.
Definitely. I mean, I think you're going to expect to get something solid out from Hats, EMAG. Zeph, I feel, is a little bit more of a wild card as well.
Hats actually had a pretty good series up against Chiefs, even though they lost. He had some pretty insane halves, particularly that T half of Inferno. They were up like 11-0, and the man was just absolutely dominating the server. So he's had some pretty impressive maps in the last couple of maps in this second stage of the Pro League playoffs. So maybe he'd be a good person to keep your eye on, like you said.
Yeah, I definitely like watching both of these two teams play against each other. It is a very high firepower kind of a match. You look at every individual player there and you kind of feel like, okay, that is a player that can step up and almost carry the game in their own right if they're having a good day. And that is probably, I feel, what you need to see out from Order. I think you're going to need to see an overperformance today from them, given the matchup history between them and Grayhound.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And there's far too many Order games that I watch where everyone's just like, yeah, we're doing okay. We're like 15 for 15 and the strats are working and we're eking out these wins. And, you know, we're going to need to see that second level. We're going to need to see that like 20 bomb in one half from Hats when he's entering around on the T side. Or you're going to need to see Ali just absolutely take over the game with the AWP or some really key clutches coming out from Inz to put them over the top.
Yeah, definitely. And that is something that we are hoping to see. But what we do have to talk about before we get there, Pilly, of course, is the map veto, which is going to be obviously quite an in-depth one between these two teams. Both have a pretty solid map pool, so we're expecting to see something pretty interesting. What do you reckon we're going to get out of the bans today?
I mean,
or they're coming up straight away. And no train ban from Grayhound, so that immediately rings some bells.
So whenever you get like a new map coming into the pool and you have a team with a lot of history of vetoing against each other, it's always interesting to see where that new map falls. And I think that we've seen for the most part Vertigo be a map that no one cares about and they just leave it until the second stage to get banned. But now Grayhound having banned it out in the first stage, maybe knowing that Order does play it, actually gives way to like a whole other realm of possibilities for Order that they haven't had access to before.
Yeah, exactly, especially in a matchup against Grayhound, because you can bet your bottom dollar that they were permabanning Train. Now that does bring a big question. Do you as Order pick Train here, or do you go for the more, I would say, more safe kind of option in Mirage? I think that is a great map for Order. We know that it's not a great map for Grayhound. Train is like, it could be anything. Who knows what Grayhound's been doing on Train? We've never seen them play on it in like 2-3 months. And Order, I mean, that is a risk in a way, but is it a risk that they're going to take here in this match against Grayhound? I mean, it's for a spot at Occitania. Like, I think there may be a world in which you just want to pick Train and see what happens.
I think if you pick Train, though, Grayhound definitely second bans Mirage.
Yeah, for sure. We're not seeing Mirage as the third. So let's have a look and see what the bans actually are going to be. Train is the choice. Overpass taken by Grayhound. That's not a surprise. I suppose Train, again, that is a surprise given the fact that it wasn't banned, but it makes sense in the context from Order's perspective at the very least. So what are we expecting as the last map here? I don't know. We're going to say Greyhound's definitely banning Mirage.
Here's the interesting thing. Yeah, Greyhound's definitely banning Mirage. So that allows Order to choose between Inferno and Nuke, two maps that they're pretty comfortable on, both of them, and Greyhound are as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what their reasoning is to choose which one they want to go towards. Obviously Nuke's been the much more popular third map decider for a lot of teams lately.
My general feeling would be I think actually Nuke might be a better option for Order, but let's see what they actually think is going to be the case, and it looks like we are going to go to Nuke indeed. So Inferno taken away, that has traditionally been a very good map for Greyhound. It's been a while, I feel like, in one of these big matches that we've actually seen Greyhound actually have to play Nuke. They generally finish it off in 2. So if we do actually get to Nuke, maybe there's a world in which this one goes the way of Order, though they did lose it against the Chiefs in their deciding map a couple of days ago. So Train overpass Nuke, it's not what I expected to see. I would have expected that we would have gotten Mirage overpass and Nuke. I don't know if it's enough to really give me too much of a feeling that Order is going to be able to knock this series over 2-0, because remember, that is what they need to do. They need to win Overpass here as well as Train. Like Train, sure, there's a good chance they probably do win that because it's Greyhound's permanent veto.
Yep.
But Overpass, I don't see you getting that. And if they don't 2-0 today, I've looked at all of the rules and everything, and I'm pretty sure Order doesn't go through unless they 2-0. If they 2-1, Greyhound goes through based on the match
differential, because they 2-0 Chiefs, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's correct as well. We're not going to make any 100% statements here because we're not the admins of the tournament. It's up to the admins of the tournament to really make that decision there. Yeah. So we'll have to wait for the admins of the tournament to actually work it out.
The official ruling.
Yeah, the official ruling, that's right. Okay. But I actually think it's interesting that Order's actually gone towards Inferno rather than towards Nuke rather than Inferno, and they had such a good performance on it recently against Chiefs. Obviously in that MDL Grand Final where Order actually overcame Greyhound, the third map decider was Nuke, and they were able to take it over them like 16-11 and actually edge out the game on the T side. They were able to get a lot of work done on the side of Order. I remember I'm pretty sure they finished that game on the T side. So interesting to see them, rather than their sort of recent performances and how well I think they've been playing on Inferno, go towards what was working for them in the matchup a while ago, like quite a while ago. But I guess it's a map that they played a lot of third map deciders against Chiefs as well. That was the third map decider, I'm pretty sure.
What's your gut feeling for this series though? Is it Greyhound still, even despite what we've seen from the veto?
I think, look, I think there's a chance Order can actually win this series, particularly with Train coming in there and throwing a bit of a spanner in the works and then heading through to Nuke with one of third map decider on. There's a chance there for Order. The problem is that I don't think this is ever going to be a 2-0, which probably means that Greyhound's going to be the team at Pro League Finals.
Yeah, exactly. And historically speaking, you look back between the two teams, their history...
It's never been a 2-0.
It's never been a 2-0. It's always gone to 3 maps, and 9 times out of 10, maybe not to that extent, but a lot of the time, I'd say 3/4 of the time, you're going to be seeing Greyhound finish that series off with a 2-1, which is going to be more than enough to get them to Occitanie and to another ESL Pro League Finals. But we do head on into Train. And I'm very interested to see what Greyhound have for us here on this map, okay? I don't think you let this through against a team like Order without having at least had a look at the map, at least figured out, you know, what do you want to be doing? Philly, you were an in-game leader once in your life. Not a very good one, but how do you feel going into this as Order? Like, do you think, okay, maybe Greyhound's actually got something up their sleeve, or are you not too scared at all?
I don't think I would be too scared. I think you just play your game and you try to work out how is Greyhound going to play against us. Are they going to try to play fairly stock standard or over aggressive? Are they trying to counter-strat us on this map in particular, which is not really something that you see hard anti-stratting out from Greyhound very often. They're more sort of a team that will soft counter and make individuals that will have reads on the game, like Dexter in particular. Makes it pretty good reads.
So creeping down the ladder, and he gets blocked by Hats. It's going to mean Malta will finish one off, Sicko another, as Hats tries to make amends for it and get the trade, but in fact all that he is going to do is gift another frag over to Greyhound. It's not a good start here for Order, and particularly in a map like this where we're not so sure how Greyhound is actually going to do in the grand scheme of things. I think pistol rounds are hugely important for them. Yesterday night, they really struggled with the pistols against the Chiefs, but here is a very good option for them to finish another one off. Start off pretty nicely on that CT side with a good economy, maybe get Sicko rolling. He used to be very, very dangerous with the AWP on Train.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
On the Order roster. So he might be able to bring some of that into today's match for Greyhound up against his old roster. And then who knows where we go from here. Like, if Grayhound have a pretty good anti-eco, clean up a lot of those guns, maybe with the SMGs, and we've got a nice bank rolling straight from round number 3, you know, Grayhound, they may be able to do something here.
I think Trainer's just another one of those maps where the CT side pistol is pretty important for you to win to get your money rolling. You need the AWP, lock down those long angles at sight. You need the utility to stop those fast inners hits or stop people just running out T-Con at you. Lock down SL. So it's good to see Grayhound get off to the start that they need on a map that we're not really sure what to expect from them yet.
Ooh, that's a very nice grenade as well. Emag and Hat's going to be eating that. And Malta, with the SMG, is playing fairly close. We spoke about needing to see some kills out on those SMGs, but in fact, it's actually Zeph that's going to have it in his hands now. What a great shot from the P250. All of a sudden, the round starts to look doable. Maybe salvaged here by Urkas, as he does get the kill onto Zeph and a lot of damage onto Inns as well. Sicko will finish it off with the Scout. But I think this is a little bit too close for comfort for Grayhound. A little bit scared about dropping that AUG as well. Urkas does get the headshot onto Hats, which will keep himself alive, and Dexter, he get a little unlucky here against Alistair if he doesn't get the timing right. Very busy with Emag right now.
Might give Ali the timing that he needs to wrap around behind Sicko here.
He's only got a Glock though, so this is going to have to be prime double dink territory. Doesn't quite manage to get it cleanly, and that is so unfortunate. If he had a P250 there, I think he cleans that kill up. Go under pressure now from Emag, looking for another frag, but Urkas on the angle. 3 kills for Urkas, 2 of them coming when he was 1 HP. How different that round could have been had Zeph actually finished Urkas off.
Yeah, that could have been the round win for Order, but even if Ali gets the kill onto Sicko and Urkas goes down as well with 1 alive, that's a huge difference between 3 alive. So dodging a couple bullets there from Grayhound.
Certainly.
Heading into this round, MP9 for Dexter. Looks like he's heading towards Inner, which is not going to be good for Grayhound in terms of the utility towards that part of the map. It's actually going to put a little pressure on. Zeph makes his way out to hold off.
That's not good at all. He's down to 29 HP. So I think made some footsteps there as well, but Sicko isn't aware.
He got flashed by Inns. Ooh, what a nade from Urkas, though.
Yeah, he must have known. Regardless, the 4v4 is still not too bad for Order, particularly when you look at the economy that's available for Grayhound right now. It's being thrown out quite early in the round. Order going to start to push on in, but Malta with that AUG, very, very on point last night. Does dispatch of one of his former teammates as well. Emag dies, or rather Alistair dies in Emag's Molotov. Now it's onto Hats, but he can't do anything in the 1v3. Is Dexter going to be able to upgrade his weapon? Doesn't look like it. But Sicko now has the option to buy the AWP. Just decide not to go for it.
I think Dexter's going to be pretty happy that they didn't come and hit Inners when he had no Molotov to drop and no smoke to buy time for the rotate.
Well, he doesn't have a Molotov again.
Yeah.
Does have the smoke.
This time he's going to be anti-eco, which is actually interesting to see him not buy one. He's again heading towards that Inners area.
On his own with an SMG. But there's not really much armor there for Order, so even if they were to push in his direction, it's probably not too scary for him. Doesn't look like Greyhound's leaving anything to chance here. They know every single round is going to be super critical, and building this economy is super critical as well. So just utilizing all that utility. Grenade will go on through. Doesn't do too much damage to Inns and Emag. But this is looking like a fairly clean anti-eco out from the CT side, which is really good to get the ball rolling for Greyhound. You know, they'll be up 4-0. Next gun round to come out for Order should be another good one, but it'll be one where Greyhound have actually finally got a proper buy-through as well, as opposed to the last gun round where they were kind of having that half-buy territory. And if Greyhound wins that, then they're up 5-0, maybe 6-0. And like, where do we go from there? It's going to get really interesting. It's been a long time since we saw Greyhound on this map.
Yeah, I think Greyhound needs the good start. But maybe they're going to turn around all our opinions that they can actually play this map to a pretty decent standard.
Dexter didn't find the AUG.
So here's where an AWP would be good to actually buy. There you go. They actually do buy it over onto Sicko. Gets dropped to him. I'm going to be interested to see if Order is going to buy themselves an AWP. Now they can afford it. And again, the premium pause timing. Thanks, Elmer Putty, even though I'm not really sure whether he has any significance over that.
I don't think so. Not in the actual server itself. I'm sure it would have to be the players that are calling the pause.
Probably. So potential AWP on AWP duel between Sicko and Ali here. Could be good to see. Looks like we will see it. There's the big green on his back. Order. It's going to take a little bit of a breather. Don't want to be rushing into this round and all of a sudden, you know, you've got the 0-4 sort of disadvantage and you're not thinking things through 100%, and all of a sudden Sicko's found an angle onto one of your players, and whatever strategy you wanted to run or whatever default you wanted to run in that round gets sort of broken down a little bit, and you try to play out the 4 and 5 and you lose another round, and then you save again and Grayhound are up 6-0. You just want to take a breather before we get into that kind of a territory and make sure you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's.
Yeah, I have some very fond memories of watching Sicko in order, or at the time Kings, on this map. Straight into the B bomb site though, and Dexter, he'll dispatch of 1-2 indeed with the MP9. It's not looking good for Order at all. They've tried to change the pace up and all they've done is fed all of that cash over to Dexter, not to mention an AK as well. Inz is spotted pushing through, and Sicko is there on the line. The AWP finding the bomb, and it's Alistair with the counter AWP on the T side that is not going to be able to do anything in this round, and best case scenario, he's going to do some damage, but Grayhound, a fantastic opportunity to really build that bank up.
So, I think what we're seeing here at the moment is it feels like it's been a while since we've seen Order actually play Train. And Greyhound's definitely been the better team in the matchup at thinking on their feet. I don't know if you feel the same. So, in unfamiliar territory such as this, where these two teams have never played each other on this map,
right?
Maybe Greyhound's just going to be that little bit better at adapting, even if they're not as proficient at the map, because I feel like Order is that more preparation-based team, whereas Greyhound can be a little bit more creative and can rely on those individuals to make a bit more impact.
Sure, and that's, I think, something that we can touch on. We've spoken about it quite extensively when talking about Greyhound, and in particular, like their mid-round plays. Which I think is something that we definitely can expect to see here on the CT side. You know, if we're going to start to see someone like Urcast maybe pushing into T-Con, we're maybe going to be seeing Sicko pushing out onto Long or pushing up into B halls or something like that. That is, I think, where maybe Greyhound actually find their advantages here, especially if Order start to slow down. Now they've tried something fast. Like, surely you're not going to try something fast again. And I think that if that starts to work for Greyhound, if they're pushers mid-round and they're being able to find picks and that kind of thing, that's really going to rattle Order, and they're not going to be too sure what to do from here. So I do see a world in which Greyhound could pose a big threat to Order, especially after this start that we've seen. Not only that, but the fact that, you know, we really haven't yet seen Sicko take over the game with the AWP here on Train, which is definitely something that he was able to do in the past on previous lineups. So it's definitely looking dire right now for Order. They need to make a difference. Malta going to hold by E-Box, and dispatches of 1. The trade not quite there from Sicko. Not a good shot from him. Missing an important one, and that might be enough to give Order an opening into the round. Urcast and Dexter very low on HP, but Dick Stacey is going to bring one back onto Inz, and Emag now with the Galil not having too much luck. It's not as accurate as he would want. Tries to pick up the scout, but it doesn't matter in the end. Urcast is there. It was a bit of a hair-raising moment there for Greyhound, but then it quite quickly gets salvaged and saved, and we're up 6-0, and Order doesn't really have money to buy.
Feels like Order's very much kind of trying to force the issue. Feels like I'm watching Chiefs T-side from the other night, where they just really want to make things happen in the very, very early round, and particularly when your opponent's economy is good on a map like Train, which is really choke pointy. Can be pretty hard to make that kind of thing work, because as soon as you try to force the issue out of one of these choke points when your opponent has good money, you're running through Molotovs, you're running through counter smokes, particularly when you don't wait until the late round to make those kind of plays. You're just trying to force it in the early to mid. Every single time, as long as your opponent's pretty proficient with using their utility, you're going to get shut down. And if there's anything that Greyhound are good at, it's using that utility.
Yeah, absolutely. Inz now has an AUG in his hands, but it's been really wishful thinking for Order. They've barely been able to find any openings into the rounds, and again, a 2v4 deficit, even though Inz has got himself that weapon. He doesn't have any armor. Bombs in T-Con still. Zeph's over on the B site. There's a bit of damage over to Dexter, but going to be able to find that kill. He can. Costs him a lot of HP. I think even if Order don't win this round, it's still important for them to be continuing to try and put pressure onto Greyhound's economy, which at the moment they're not really doing. If they're going to come back into this half, they need to be breaking that CT economy sooner or later. 7-0 for Greyhound. You've got to remember, Order needs to win 2-0 tonight.
And a ton of money to back it up as well. I don't think they're too down and out just yet, but this is where a couple more rounds, we see 8-9 on the board for Greyhound with still good money and still being uncontested by Order, and that's where you start to get worried. I think this is the round where we need to see the difference from Order, and I haven't seen them play a slower round just yet. I haven't seen them actually run a default. Some smokes on the outside bomb site, and they're going to try to boost on T-Con to pick anyone top of green or brown.
Well, here's a push.
Won't catch anyone there.
It's out onto Long. Inz is going to tuck himself by Dumpster.
interesting that Ali actually is able to pick Urcast on top of that brown train there.
Okay, but this is what we were talking about earlier, and this is where you're going to start to see Grayhound make some moves. If Order slows down, we'll start to see pushes out from that A bomb site probably.
We've already seen one sort of definitive move, which is that Hats has put pressure and the utility on this inners area, and Dexter hasn't called to rotate, or someone's chosen not to rotate. Even in the 5-on-5, they didn't want the rotate. And Dexter, he's got the molly to drop if this hit comes in. He's got a flash, but no one's even in position to be able to help him. So when this inners hit does come in, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Done some good damage over to Zeph. Now does get the incendiary down. Pretty good timing on it by the looks of things, and Zeph is going to run straight into it. Was he team flashed? He had no idea. I don't think that the incendiary was actually there, and that gives Dexter the room to play with. Sicko now rotating into the bomb site, but it's not going to matter. Both go down. And Dick Stacey can't find the angle onto the bomb plant. Emac spots him and gets off the plant. It's going to give Alistair time to finish him off. First round on the board finally for Order. But are they going to be able to find anything more than just this one, or is it going to be an immediate response from Grayhound? Double AWP out now from them.
Pretty interested to see that that rotation didn't come out after the pressure was applied towards inners, even though that might be part of a default. Usually that's the whole rotation on the CT side. You see the inners player sort of probe there on the T side default, and then that's going to cause the CT rotator actually make his way in towards that CT connector area on the inners side. Didn't happen this time. See if that's going to be a trend going forward. Sicko going to cop a tag, probably from Alistair on the leg shot, out of T-Con. And Order, again, Hats probing towards inner. You got Ali just set up at T-Con, and here we go. The rest of them going to head towards Ivy now and apply some pressure there.
Dick Stacey's definitely keeping an eye on it, throwing his own utility back in Order's direction. Dexter still with that secondary AWP over on the B bomb side, has given his position away now as well. I think Order are cottoning onto the fact that there's going to be 2 AWPs. After Sicko took the challenge on A, and then you see Dexter low by the ramp on B. Sicko does get the better of Alistair in the meanwhile, so a player advantage for Grayhound. We haven't seen Order be able to come back from a player deficit. And 1 round came from the opening that came from Alistair.
Flash is going to send Zeph through dark side. T players now making their way through. Brown Horse back towards inner. Sicko can't let Zeph sneak through dark side here and backstab Dexter because that's the end of the round. Dexter's playing full retake and buying time for the rotations. Try to pick one of these Ts coming into the site and just sit and wait for the rest of his team to show up.
Oh, well, Zeph has been given that opportunity, but he can't take hold of it. Urcast drops him, spinning around, and now Dexter with the AWP. He's going to miss the shot, takes a re-peek. Emag setting up the firing squad there, but the shot's not connecting for Order. They have done a lot of damage though, so this round definitely winnable. And Hats is doing what needs to be done for Order. Does actually spot Sicko out there as well, but dives back down by Oil Train. And unless Malta somehow gets the opener here onto wins, the round is over. It looked so good for Grayhound, but then Hats just gets 3. And Order straight back into it, 2 rounds in a row.
For the cash.
And money cooked.
Absolutely cooked. That's what buying a double AWP costs you. And the Orgs and the full util.
Yeah.
So I'd say Order, I mean, ideally, wouldn't have got down to 0-7, but they've turned it around at the appropriate point to keep this a competitive game.
Sure. It's good so far for Order, two rounds in a row, but I mean, yeah, okay, it's the right time to turn it around, but that is under the assumption that they continue to get rounds from here. Like, if they turn it around and then subsequently Grayhound just wins another, I'd say 2 rounds now, then Order's right back under the pump.
I think 6 is pretty good on T side of train. I think you're looking at a 10-5 half on average.
It's still within the realms of possibility for Grayhound.
I don't know. We'll see how their T side goes. It's probably a little bit easier to play the CT side of this map if you've got less reps in.
Yeah. Well, this round is definitely not over just yet. Sicko has got himself a AWP. That looks like he wants to pose a challenge. The grenade is going to come through, and that is going to do a lot of damage to Sicko.
It's been great from Order. Nading into SL, then one dunking onto Sicko. Util usage have been fantastic from the lads. Pretty similar setup again. Utility expended towards Ivy. 3 players over there. They're going to start to make their way up. Alistair is posted in T-Con, not really doing anything, and Hats is chilling, watching that in a push.
Stacey not quite able to take the chance that EMAG give him with that little bit of a messy spray. Recast will get one at least onto Alistair. Smoke to go down. And some more space? No. Hats is there and waiting. 7-3. Money's looking better now for Grayhound though. Urcast can drop the AWP over to Sicko. M4s are going to come out this time.
Not the greatest utility, particularly missing some Molotovs. If Dex is that in as player and that same sort of contact play comes out and he can't drop the Molotov in time, he will again have to try to rely on that smoke in the early round. But once that one's gone, he's going to have to call for a rotate or just try to rely on his aim or play retake. Order this time, very quick down SL. Alistair went down there quickly for the pick.
Yep.
Actually faked going up the ladder to see if anyone pushed through the smoke and maybe if he can find an angle once that smoke does dissipate. But Grayhound have been pretty regularly refreshing that. I think there might have been an info play in towards T-Con there based on the positioning of those Grayhound players, and maybe there's going to be some re-aggression into SL. Flash gets thrown out by Urcast and Malta sent into SL. Doesn't see anything, so that's a good bit of information and a good position for Grayhound to hold on to. SL is such an important spot for the CTs to have control of because it really limits that rotation between the inner and the outer bomb site. Plus you can go for those fast backstabs. Order with a minute to go. Still very spread out. But I'd imagine that the way that they're looking at this point, particularly with the people still committed to Ivy, this is going to be an outside split. And this duel in SL between Hats and Malta, probably going to be pretty key. This off angle from Urcast is going to bear fruit as well.
He's going to tuck himself in the corner, aware of the possible trade to come from Alistair. Knows there's still a player in T-Con because of that utility. Dick Stacey's gone 1-for-1 up at Ivy. Great shot from Alistair. If Urcast gets that kill, it's probably round over, but 30 seconds here. And that's going to start making Malta a little bit nervous here in SL. Does he push on forwards? When does Hats inevitably strike? EMAG will be dropped by Sicko. That's the bomb. Now is the go signal for Order. Straight away, utility comes into SL and actually causes Hats to have to wait. And that might be the crucial seconds that have actually lost the round now for Order with 10 on the clock. Alistair has to get forward, get that bomb, get the plant, get the kills. It's not possible. Grayhound up 8-3. Money's still looking a little precarious for them though. 3,600 on the 3 players that didn't survive the round. So still a chance for Order.
Actually chose not to go for the double AWP, interestingly enough. Dexter doesn't want to be playing with that on the inner bomb site.
I think it's probably a better option even in this case to be going for the extra utility. Grayhound.
Interested to see how he goes with the Silence Cult over there.
It's one of his more favoured weapons. Another quick play from Order, and we've seen how that has not worked throughout today's match. Zeph is making a lot of noise on the bomb site, but there's actually no one able to recognise that for Grayhound and Urcast. He's going to be slammed. Dexter, probably a good thing he doesn't have the AWP in this situation, but it's not going to make a difference. That was very quick from Order, and finally a faster play works.
Does. Maybe the difference maker was the util there, but felt like Order, they got a lot of ground, and particularly Zeph in a key position like that, when he's so forward, is going to create a lot of openings. And the setup from Grayhound was a lot more passive, right? Like, usually we've seen them towards that E-box area, maybe in SL, or Urcast is playing up on that blue trainer in Olaf. In that round in particular, I mean, you saw them running away back to Darkside and playing behind the bomb in CT-Con as well. It's not like they're in crazy forward positions and grouped up as a team, 4 stacked on that outer bomb site, so that just ends up being a good round for Order to mix that fast play towards the site in. And based on how we've seen them play this map before, I mean, that's a pretty stock standard approach from them, right?
Yep. Can't be too disappointed with that. It's going to be the important round that Order needed to, again, break the economy of Grayhound, put them onto an eco. It's really been tough going for Grayhound in the last 4 or 5 rounds. And only 8 on the CT side so far. It was looking so good at 7-0, but now there starts to become thoughts of perhaps Order winning this half. Ocast gets a 1-for-1 with the USP. By winning the half, I mean, if they get more than 5 rounds, they probably feel as though they can consider that a win.
I would agree with that.
Full pistol retake USPs for Grayhound. What are they going to be able to do? Not a whole lot. Stat padding time for Inns here, although down to 20 HP, doesn't really want to face Malta and potentially lose another gun. He tried to get out, and that was the undoing for him. They lose the gun. I don't think it really has much of an impact in the grand scheme of things with only 2 rounds left to go. The money that Order have got is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, this one is a big one for Grayhound. If they win here, it's possible 10-5. If they lose, it's looking like 8-7.
Exactly right. They probably will be reset pretty hard. It'll be like a 3K or something like that, I would imagine, in the next round. Something along those lines. Like, enough to get FAMAS and armor and like 1 smoke or an SMG armor and utility, but you're not going to be seeing any crazy AUG buys or an AWP probably. But Order, 2-1-2 approach from them. Imagine and Hats taking this in his control, putting pressure on Dexter. He's already used his only piece of utility very early on in the piece, which means that potentially he'll need to rotate later in the round. Soon, rather.
Oh, good start for Grayhound with Urcast finding the frag. Mid-round push into T-Con. Haven't seen too much of it from Grayhound.
They definitely needed that, though.
But, yeah, that's the kind of play that could win you the round. Not only this one, but maybe put you into a pretty good spot heading into the second half, up maybe 10-5.
That's going to reinforce Sicko just coming and turreting here on the CT Con area. And actually, Grayhound, they're just going to full retake this out of sight. Well, not full retake it, but play a very passive setup rather than a forward setup, particularly after that aggressive play from Urcast in the early round. That's definitely going to keep Order guessing about what they're doing. Regardless, Order's not going to be worried about that. They're heading in towards inners now.
Dexter just avoiding it, knows that there's 2 players out. I think Sicko would have been able to call it, but he can't actually win the aim duel against Alistar, and that has put a spanner in the works for Grayhound. They're going to have difficulty getting out from Z connector. The Molotov goes through at the perfect time. Sicko cops 50 HP or 40 HP off of it. And now they start to filter their way out, but a 4v4 retake, you have to favor Order in a situation like this, particularly considering how open the bomb is planted. Good frag from Dick Stacey, alleviates some of the pressure. And then Alistar is close on the bomb train, he'll fall next. Hats, though, is a bit of an aimbot, just tapping away. No smoke available for Grayhound, they're going to have to deal with ins here. It's all on the shot now from Sicko. Waiting for that drop, and he unscopes at the wrong time, but he still gets the shot, and the bomb wasn't actually planted for ins. So it was an open plan, but for upper, if Hats survives instead of ins, could have been a totally different round.
I actually think that inners on train is probably the easiest site. I can't think of a better one, an easier one rather. I think it's probably the easiest site for the retakes to come in from the CTs. Even when they didn't have the utility, they didn't have a kit there, they were still able to make that work, and the flashes came out on the left side for Order to try to peek off of that, and they were still losing those duels. So,
yeah, maybe. What about Mirage A?
Nah, I think even this site's easier than that, because Mirage A, you can play it from mid, and there's so many different angles you have to deal with. Sometimes you don't even get those angles because Urcast is shooting you through smoke. He's 18-6.
He's having a banger at the moment. Good shot from Sicko. Not enough to get the kill, but Urcast is there to finish it off, and it is looking like, indeed, it is going to be that 10-5 half. Order, they had a resurgence in the middle stages there, but they couldn't quite get the job done. I don't think they've quite got enough there. See how it goes in the second half, though. Pistol going to be very important for both sides. First, though, we take a short break, but we'll be back after this.
Dancing on my own when you spill that ramen coke on my t-shirt. Yeah, your eyes made it difficult to get my baby. And the next thing I know, next thing I lose, we were so ready.
Well, 10-5 at the end of the half, favouring Grayhound. It does raise a couple of concerns, I suppose, for Order. Could well swing back the way of them if they do pick up this CT pistol. But I wonder, is 10 actually enough for Grayhound? We know that this is not a map that they've played in... I actually could not remember the last time that Grayhound have played Train. But it's their permaban. Now they're moving over to T-side.
I don't think this scoreline could have told us less.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's 10-5 on Train. Yep, happened.
Yep, that happened. It's pretty standard. It's pretty much what you expect out of a game of Train. But my question is, for Grayhound, do they know what they're doing on the T side? Because, okay, it's well and good to get 10 rounds on the CT side. You're a good squad. You have good rotations. You know, they have good aimers. They're able to get early picks, that kind of stuff. But that sort of all gets thrown out the window for Grayhound on the T side, where they're going to have to be playing with Order a little bit more so. And it's on Order to play reactively. For Grayhound, it's their turn now to be proactive. Pistol is going to be absolutely instrumental for Grayhound.
Well, if Grayhound don't have a strong T side, then exactly right. Pistol, super important. Not only does it give them an extra couple of rounds that they won't have to work hard for in the gun rounds later, gives them that anti-eco, but it also slows down Order's economy and makes it harder for them to get full utility and the AWP on someone like Alistair.
Looks like it's going to be in toward the B bomb side. Order have a reasonable setup for this with the two players there. Sometimes it'll only be the one. Smoke goes down. Emag now going to decide to fire a few shots through, but he won't get lucky. Alistair, however, will, and I think that's better than just luck. That's skill. 2 kills from the headshots, traded out by Dexter. Bomb to go down. You mentioned this is a difficult one to hold on the retake, and Grayhound have a player deficit here as well. But importantly, a Molotov there for Malta.
No smoke, no kit for Order.
And if Malta goes down here in upper, it might be the round over, but if he finds the kill, there is still a chance. It's looking dangerous, and Inns will fall. Dexter now has no hope but to try and win a 1v4 by pure aim, and that is not going to happen. You could see the setup, though, for Grayhound. If Malta could have won that aim battle against Inns, gotten the Molotov down onto the bomb site, throwing it through upper, obviously they still would have had to buy a fair bit of time, but that was the idea. Not the perfect execution, though, that Grayhound wanted, and it'll be an eco territory for them here. Down, though, will allow them to get a pretty decent plan. Pretty decent buy next round.
Very good buy. Not even going to invest too much, so really valuing the utility on this T side.
2 smokes, though.
No deagles or anything like that, just P250s.
What do we see here from Grayhound? Is this just a bomb plant strategy?
Maybe.
There's the smokes. Malta over at B, lurking around. That's scary.
So far 1 kill, which you got to be pretty happy already with the investment that came out from Grayhound. But
Malta's
now
got the M4.
Ooh.
It was Malta. He actually soloed into SL.
Against Hats, of all people, who's pretty solid at that position. So Grayhound now going to make their way back towards Inners. No utility here for Order, no kits.
Well, if Grayhound let the bomb out from upper, they actually get a bomb plan here because Emag's not going to be able to do anything about it, really. At least at the moment, watching ramp. That does seem to be the direction that Dexter is going. Well, he's perhaps got the timing right here. Oh, I say that. They've actually managed to get down into the site. Malta wins the aim duel as well. He's got 5 HP. Who does he give this M4 to, or does he keep it for himself? Urkas just caught pushing up. If he would have been able to get into CT spawn there, it could have definitely meant the round for Grayhound. Dexter here gets a good shot onto Inns, and Malta is doing some serious work with his M4 now. Alistair, the last one that he needs to find, really with a huge amount of HP, but now Sicko, where does he come from? Where does he go? I'm starting to run out for Alistair. He doesn't have a defuse kit either, so Sicko might well win this round. I think he's won it.
Unbelievable. Oh, that is not what you want to see from Order after losing that, after winning that pistol and potentially putting themselves in a really good spot in this game. They lose to a pretty much full eco, which is it's pretty much as easy mode as it gets for Grayhound in terms of getting those rounds. And you have to say, how the hell does Malta just fly down SL, get that pick on Hearts, pick up his M4, and just go on a tear like that?
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, that's some Malta magic.
Hashtag Malta magic.
We saw a bit of it yesterday. That shot on the blitz on Dust 2. If Malta gets you that one round, might be enough. Grayhound up 11-6. A chance now to really put order under the pump. Urcast is doing just that, running straight on the A bomb site. Inns goes down as well. That's the only real gun that Order have to play with. Alistair's got a scout, to be fair, but I'm not sure how much damage that is going to be able to do, particularly from SL. He's behind them though. EMAG taking the contact, but it won't make a difference. 12-6 now. Grayhound charging on forward. It's an eco for Order as well.
What an easily deflected force buy from Grayhound. Losing one player. That's it. Pretty good approach from them as well. Smoke on the right side of the bomb train just to cut down the angles a little bit. Molotovs behind that. Some nice flashes to set up the players and just good spacing using the top of the trains to just create favourable duels for them up against the pistols. Lovely to see. Just strong fundamentals on train. Here we go.
Firing squad for Order. Wouldn't it be great to just see a grenade fly right into that big group of CTs?
It'd be nice.
Don't know how easy it would be to throw a grenade in their direction without being spotted. I guess from here, like over the bomb train.
Ooh.
Well, that's a flash. Well, the jig is up now. Grayhound know what's going on, and they're into the B side already. Malta backing away from SL. The same can be said for Dexter through T-Con. Not interested in that A bomb side anymore.
Fire raining down from Grayhound to stop any of these pistol-y boys from getting too close. Be losing any guns. Go Malta. Have some HLTV points.
You know what that is?
What is that?
Whack-a-mole.
Okay. Have you ever actually played Whack-a-mole?
Yes. I'm not good at it.
That's what we need to see. Too many Australian orgs with animals as their avatars, but no moles. Where are the moles? I'd even take a mole man from The Simpsons.
A mole is an animal as well.
Exactly right.
And quite frankly, what Australian orgs really do have animals as their logo?
Everyone has a wolf, mate. What do you mean?
Outside of Grayhound.
Breakaway had like a weird bird thing.
Yeah.
Had that control wolf.
Well,
there was like a million of them. You just haven't seen half of them because you only cast the Premier tournaments.
They don't count if they're not in the top 4.
Ooh, okay. At Elfishka on Twitter.
Atletico's got an A, Order's got a thing. Don't know what that is.
It's a Beyblade, mate. What do you mean?
Yeah, I suppose.
Sick Beyblade. Order doesn't have a good buy, Jordan. They have a very bad buy, in fact. They have no utility.
And they might not get the chance to actually get a good buy, or if they do, it'll be at 15. It'll be map point for Grayhound.
They need to click on all of the Grayhound players, and if they don't, they're going to lose. And it's so far, not so good.
Well, you talked about Dick Stacey on the T side if he gets it rolling. Hasn't managed it in this instance. But at least an opening, a 4v4. I think Grayhound is happy with that, all things considered. Doesn't cause a rotate just yet from Order, though.
Grayhound just waiting patiently. They know they're in the driver's seat here, grouping up, making sure they can hit that outers area together in sync. Whereas Order, they just got to nervously shuffle around.
Flashbang through for Grayhound is going to allow Urcast the peek out from T-Con, but it's actually Sicko holding the line on Ivy that is going to open things up again for them. Urcast will fall, so we're into a 3v3, but Sicko, he's going to be such a menace dancing around here, causing so many problems, a distraction that allows Malta to peek out and find the angle, but they don't know that EMAG is here, and he's going to deny the bomb plant with 20 seconds. Sicko must hit this shot, and he will. And now the round swings back in the favour of Grayhound. It's really been a back and forth game. With this bomb plant now going down in a 2v1, Alistair is going to have to come up with something absolutely insane. He doesn't even have armor, no defuse kit, no utility at all. Malta gifts him a frag though, but he has absolutely no idea where Sicko is. And all it's going to take is a little tickle here from that org. he's more or less given away his position time and time over for Sicko to win this round pretty comfortably. Although Sicko makes a bit of noise there. I think it's too far gone though. Alistair's not going to win the round now. And Grayhound are going to go up to 14. This spells disaster for Order, in my opinion. Not only for this map, not only for Occitani, but for the entire series in general. If you don't win Train, we're staring down the barrel of a 2-0.
What a terrible time to be reset. And actually, Order's going to take the massive risk. They're just going to try and buy up into this round. With the MP9s, the Famuses, some decent utility across the board, one kit.
Well, this is where you hope slipping away as Order, you know that you need a 2-0 tonight. And they're not getting anywhere near that at this point. Grayhound is putting on a display. This is a map that Grayhound has permabanned for as long as they've existed, it feels like. In any iteration. I cannot remember the time that we've seen Grayhound playing Train. Although, Order is actually making it work with these SMGs, so perhaps there is a story yet untold for us. Grayhound, they're slipping at the final hurdle. Now it's all on to Dick Stacey. Grayhound are going to be thinking, how on earth has that happened? What is the context for us for the rest of this series? And for the rest of this map as well, and now that Grayhound have not quite gotten it done when they needed to.
Well, they still have plenty of time and they still have plenty of money. AK would be dropped to Dexter. So again, just as good of a buy from Grayhound. Maybe Urcast a little bit light on the util. Over on Order, a better buy, but already losing hats. It's going to be a massive problem. He's the main man that's usually controlling that SL area. Pretty important place to be chilling as a CT. Instead, Order, they're just going to smoke off SL. They're going to smoke off T-Con as well. But they're not really making any moves in this 4-on-5 to sort of come back from this deficit right now. They're kind of just going through the motions. Utility expended towards inner is actually keeping two players over there, particularly with Alistair in this position here. That does get punished by Urcast. That's going to cause the panic rotation to come back from ins. Will he make it in time? Probably. Grayhound, they're not in a rush. They understand how favourable their scenario is. They can just take their time, make sure that they do this properly.
They should be able to close it out from here in a 3v5. Seems unrealistic that Order are going to be able to pull it off again. Last round they did it with subpar weaponry. This time they're going to have to do it with subpar numbers, and it's all onto ins. After the entries go the way of Grayhound, he's doing damage onto Urcast, but taking some as well from the fire. It'll be finished off by Dexter. 15 is up for Grayhound. It's map point now. And that is really Occitani point as well. At least we theorize if Order don't get the 2-0 tonight, it is Grayhound through to Occitani. So, may well be over in one, really.
So two of these players on Order were on about 3k, which is probably going to be that MP9 light armor with utility buy from them and the other lads. Going to try and do their best to get weaponry going, but it's not going to be a good buy. It's not going to be an AWP. They're going to be cutting corners on a lot of utility here, which particularly with how Grayhound's playing is going to be difficult for them to win the round, because Grayhound, they're finding these picks pretty well, and they're also playing quite a slow style, just taking map control, putting pressure on towards inners, sitting around Ivy and just using that as an avenue to slowly split. See Urcast very responsible at just holding on to that T-Con area and then coming out at the right time to supporting his team coming out Ivy. Really feels like Grayhound, they've got a pretty strong stranglehold on this game now.
Well, I think that was probably evident to most, even before we got to map point for Order. For Grayhound. Yeah, I don't know what to really say about this. I mean, it's definitely a decision that's gone wrong for Order, isn't it? Because you look at Mirage and you say, okay, that's definitely one that Order is very, very comfortable on.
Could have picked it.
Could have picked it.
That's what you said,
It was
Jordan.
open.
Coach Jordan.
Well, I don't disagree with the choice in a way. Like, I can see the sense in Order picking Train, but it's obviously the execution that's failed them here. So, I think on paper it makes sense. But today it hasn't worked against
When was
Grayhound.
the last time you saw Order play Train, though? Like, it just gets banned against them so regularly that maybe it's just been such a long time that they played it that they just aren't familiar as they used to be, or they're not warmed up enough.
Well, I guess that's definitely something to consider. Well, where could this series have gone had we gone on Mirage? We will never know. I mean, train isn't technically over just yet, but it's
this
really
is
looking like it.
This is Occitane point for Grayhound, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so too.
No 100% confirmation from the admins as of yet, but I'm pretty confident that it is Occitane point for Grayhound.
And even if it wasn't, heading onto overpass after smashing Order on their own map pick, you'd have to be backing Grayhound every day.
Yeah, like even if it's not, even if it's not like, okay, you need the map to go to Occitane. Like, you win here on train, you're going onto overpass, all that fails, we head on to Nuke as well. It seems very difficult that Order would even win this series from a point like this, regardless of whether or not it matters. I would be saying a 2-0 from here, which is just going to reinforce again the opinion that Grayhound is just a cut above Order and Chiefs at the moment.
Definitely. And that would be Order unable to win a series in this Pro League stage.
Round 2, yes.
Yep.
Well, again, I guess that reinforces the fact that we're looking at Grayhound 1, Chiefs 2, and Order 3. Tag through from Sicko, that's nice.
And not much utility purchased by Order, and they've thrown the majority of it on SL and T-Con right at the start of the round. Grayhound, what are they doing? Nothing.
Chilling.
They don't want anything to do with this earlier parts of the round. Looks like they have a pretty strong understanding of what's going on here. They know very well that right now Order, money's not the best. Wait out the utility until the late round. We're going to have a pretty definitive advantage 9 times out of 10. Maybe because of that lack of utility or lack of good weaponry, Order's even going to take a risk somewhere that we could potentially punish them for. It's just good, solid play out of Grayhound.
Lots of damage onto Hats, Alistair as well. Urkas gets both. He's looking for more as well as he works his way into the A-bomb side. Aware of INZ connector. That's 3 now for Urkas. Malta gets himself 1 as well. That is the round over, and that is the map over. And as far as I'm concerned, that might as well be the series over as well. Grayhound up 1-0. We move over onto Overpass. And it looks like it's Occitane now for Grayhound. It's going to be their 3rd, I believe, ESL Pro League Finals in almost as many years. But we're going to take a quick break, guys. We've obviously got Map 2 coming up after this. Like I said, it is Overpass. It's looking fantastic right now for Grayhound. We'll see if they can close it out in 2 like they did yesterday against the Chiefs right after this.
Well, I mean, that's the reason why we play, right?
Oh, it's a lovely sound in my ears, Alex. It's a lovely sound.
Who thinks that the North American Counter-Strike scene is back?
Chicago, make some noise for Team American.
This is their chance to grab a trophy on home soil.
Taco waits below it, though. Taco waits below it, and he holds! That's absolutely sensational!
Think he can't clutch through a smoke while recording in full resolution and streaming the play to the world? Watch this.
Counter-terrorists win.
Think he can't get famous in a flash? Like become your own meme famous? Watch this. Think he's been there, done that? With Intel Core i7, he's just getting started. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Bon spectacle.
Safeguard Ultimate Experience is your chance to win a trip to the biggest esports events around the globe. Get VIP access together with paid travel and accommodation. You will get a special event goodie bag and will also appear in your own personal aftermovie. An ultimate experience is guaranteed. Make sure to check out paysafeguard.com/esports for further information.
This is Game Fuel. 16 ounces of pure annihilation. Tastes like berry-flavored wind sauce.
New Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
I'll show you how it's done. There's no sight we go inside. The man is the one. You build your walls with faith in God. They never come around. Then wonder why we all defy the burden to be born. We're coming home with a mission to bring an end to a terrible plan. We are here to your mission. We are many of one. We're coming home with a mission to tear you down from your undeserved throne. We can take your conviction. We are many of one. You may call it a virus, but we call it the antidote. It's an answer to silence. The future is here to revolt. Go!
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Occitanie, Betway, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, and PaySafeCard.
It's 1-0 right now for Grayhound up against Order, and it came on a train. The perma ban for Grayhound. It's been a long time. Maybe ever. Have we ever seen Grayhound playing train? I don't remember if we have. I've been casting this region since before Grayhound existed. Same for Order. We move on to Overpass now. It's Grayhound's map pick, and what we do know about that map is that is definitely a very, very solid one for Grayhound. We saw it last night against Chiefs. Really, really clean victory for them. I'm expecting nothing less against Order tonight as well.
The Chiefs were able to take it over Order when they played them head-to-head in that series, and it was pretty convincing. Even though Order were able to get some advantages on that CT side, Chiefs still made a pretty easy defeat of Order on that map in particular, and then Order played their map of Inferno that Chiefs teams looked like they were a bit more resilient on as well. So it feels like Order, in general, I feel like across this whole qualifier, or this whole stage of the Pro League rather, have been just a little bit too flat.
Yeah, but that sort of feels like Order for this entire year almost. Like they didn't manage to qualify for IEM Sydney. They're not managing to qualify for Pro League. We always know that they're sort of in that discussion. They're in the mix, but they're not really pushing the issue, especially against the likes of Grayhound and Chiefs, which is kind of unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I feel like they've kind of let Chiefs leapfrog them a little bit in terms of the domestic scene, which when you're looking at how new of a lineup Chiefs is compared to this Order roster, it's kind of not really that acceptable. I try not to be too critical of a lot of these teams because I'm fans of all these players really, but I feel like Order have kind of missed the beat a little bit in the last couple of months, and maybe there might be some potential for change in the future because they're clearly not meeting their goals as a team.
Yeah, well, that is definitely for greater minds than ours to discuss. What I can confirm is with that result, Grayhound are going to go through to Occitani, regardless of whether or not they lose to Order. Even if it is a 2-1 from Order tonight, they are going to be worse off in the map aggregate, 3-3 versus the 3-2 that Grayhound have now secured. So it's impossible for Order to qualify, even regardless of a 2-0 from here on out.
And what a way for Grayhound to do it as well, on train. It's like, could they make it any more impressive? The amount of maps that these guys can play, the amount of opponents that these guys can beat in this region in particular, it's great to see.
Yeah, definitely. Things are looking fantastic for Grayhound at the moment. They've had a good performance at IEM Sydney. I mean, again, not quite making it through to the arena, obviously disappointing for the Australians and for them. But in the context of the results that they were able to get, I think it's still not a bad run from them. Now they're going to go through to ESL Pro League, which traditionally has actually been a little less kind on them than the IEM Sydneys. Like they've been able to make pretty good deep lower bracket runs in IEM Sydneys. In ESL Pro Leagues, they've just gotten knocked out straight off the bat. You know, they've gone down straight away. But maybe this is going to be different going to Occitani. Who knows who they're going to be seeded up against, what kind of matches they're going to be playing. But things are looking great for their roster right now. Even with Sicko coming in, people were raising their questions. To be able to go for IEM Sydney, have a decent performance, be able to go to ESL Pro League here as well, I think, you know, you're starting to see the pieces of the puzzle come together. Are they as strong as they were when Gratisfaction was there? I'm not prepared to say that they are, but I think they're definitely at a level that you can be pretty happy with.
I would agree with that. I don't think they've reached their 100% yet. I'm not even sure if they necessarily will at this sort of version of Occitani when they head through to the Pro League finals. But it's nice to see that at least they're consistent in terms of making sure that they're qualifying for all these overseas tournaments and giving themselves maximum opportunity to improve, because it kind of feels like the other two teams, or even if it was three teams previously in the region, don't really deserve it as much as Grayhound do because they've just been so solid for such a long time.
Yeah, definitely not at the moment. Maybe there is something to be said in the future for Order or for Chiefs or for whatever that fourth team within the top four may be. That, I mean, really at the moment it doesn't feel like they exist. We saw Breakaway kind of push there, but Breakaway doesn't really exist in that same iteration anymore. Atletico pushing that.
They
Atletico doesn't. That's right, everyone's shuffled. Obviously, we're not kind of getting much of an insight into that right now in the Pro League because we've just got the top three teams, which largely avoided that. But when we get to ANZ Champs Finals, when we get to next season of ESL Pro League, everything's going to be different. Anyway, we're heading into Overpass right now. It's Greyhound's series to lose from this point, and I think Order going into it, how they're going to feel about it, I'm not so sure. Whether there's going to be much on the line for them, knowing that they now cannot qualify for Occitani, but I suppose try to salvage some pride at least. There would definitely be something to be said for Order if they were actually able to beat Grayhound, you know, tonight. Like if they were able to come back from that loss and try and beat Grayhound 2-1, even though they don't qualify for Occitani, that's actually a result that I think we'll be talking about in the future. But
it's always going to have a massive asterisk on it.
It is, and is it even within the wheelhouse for Order? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really think so. They look a little bit too flat to be able to defeat Grayhound, even if they let their foot off the gas pedal a little bit, particularly on Overpass. Hey, there you go. Neil M is in the server. These late night games must be doing him pretty well if he's back at home. Alrighty. One set of utility on Grayhound. Nothing crazy. It's P250, a flash and a smoke. And Inns has just got the smoke at the kit. if the bomb does potentially go down later, he can drop that on the bomb and try to smoke defuse. Imagine spots a few players crossing across the playground there, but that's not really going to tell Order a huge amount. So they're going to go for some aggression towards short B here.
This is going to be scary. His feet have been spotted, so has Malta's feet. Ooh. Hats is going to decide to try and actually take the aim duel there, but backs away when he spots 2.
The Grayhound just barreling up long, have been spotted out by Imagine, who's just going to chill.
Well, Grayhound still haven't used their utility just yet. Dexter has the smoke and the flashbang available still. This is maybe not a favourable aim battle for Grayhound, but they're still going to make it work. Dexter actually has a P250, so I lie. Able to do a lot of damage at that range. Urcast will drop to the headshot of EMAG. Damage being done now by Order. Alistair finding another. But Dick Stacey on the lurk over toward B has actually cleaned up Hats, and now he makes his way in towards Zeph, who has been a real menace on the pistols throughout ESL Pro League so far, and that is exactly another iteration of it. Malta goes down. A great headshot from Zeph. He is so crisp with the USP. Looks like Grayhound will probably be losing this pistol from here.
Dexter's got no armor, so even if he doesn't cop a headshot, the body shots will probably be pretty sufficient to take him out. Pops a lot of them and down he goes. Pistol for Order. It's going to get their money off to a good start. Grayhound not necessarily needing the pistol. This is probably, arguably, their best half on any map is T-side overpass.
Yeah. I mean, I think CT overpass is pretty good too. Has to be on overpass though, doesn't it?
Probably. Man, Urcast was pretty good last game.
Yep. Feel like that's not something that we've never said before.
Bit of cash being made by Water. Kind of looks like EMAG might go down here as well. Never mind. Ali's there to back him up. So 4 alive. Couple SMG kills coming out.
Yep.
Not bad.
Gun time though for Grayhound. So gun time means fun time, but not for Order probably. Decent amount of utility there, Grayhound, even despite not getting a bomb plant. It is going to be toward the B bomb site. Grayhound do initially push. Looks like it. More of a default setup than anything else. But kept at bay by the utility of Order up there toward Playground.
Order just fall back after that little bit of pressure on Playground and play towards this toilets area. Meanwhile, Grayhound slowly moving through connector, taking short B control. Bans being exchanged back and forth between both teams. Nothing crazy happening just yet. But Grayhound going to make their way towards B with all of their players. One flash going to be sent out by Sicko to help Urcast go and prod this A side of the map. Potentially, if he does do that effectively, actually no. Sicko's going to join up with him, and it looks like the shift's coming out for Grayhound towards connector.
We're seeing a lot of utility being expended across both sides of the map actually for Order right now. So Grayhound have left it pretty late, but I don't necessarily mind this. There is literally nothing left for Order, bar flashbangs. Good timing on the push though from ins into bathrooms. He'll find Dick Stacey. So a numbers advantage to perhaps counteract the utility disadvantage. Well done from Sicko to trade back, but he himself will be dropped by Alistair. With 24 seconds now, Grayhound need to put some work in to get onto this bomb site. Malta just misses a very slight opportunity to try and get one onto Alistair. He's going to go for the bomb plant. That looks like it'll go down safely. Covered off well by Dexter, but not well enough. Dexter can't keep himself alive, and now it's on to Malta and Urcast. Urcast hiding behind the van next to Bank, but it's Malta that will strike second. Has to reload. Doesn't quite manage to win the aim duel against Hats, but Urcast can definitely win this 1v2 if he hits some crisp shots. Hats being put under pressure, but Urcast just can't quite calibrate. And Order will win the round. Bit of a touch and go moment for them. Did Malta run out of bullets? Or did he just fat finger the reload button?
Not sure. I wasn't listening closely enough for the clicking sound.
Have we got a replay of Malta fighting at the truck there?
Half Flyer going to come out for Grayhound. Did have enough to fully invest with AKs and armor, but they wouldn't have had much utility. Definitely would have had an AWP. So, going to give themselves a decent shot at winning the round.
I'm told he fat fingered the reload button. Or maybe it wasn't a fat finger, maybe it wasn't a decision. But if it was not a good one. Because he got challenged straight away by Hats, and if he hadn't had to reload there, I feel like he would have had a better chance of winning the aim duel. Not to say it would have 100% made a difference in the round, but definitely think it could have.
Grayhound grouped at the top of Con. I've got a copper shot from Alistair. He's up close in the bathrooms. His second point of contact, and he's doing a pretty good job in this bathrooms area so far for Order.
Yeah, you want to be seeing some economic damage out from here, Grayhound. They have invested a little bit into it. Deagles, pistols, utility, some armor there as well. That's good from Urcast, but you need to see more. Can't just be the one kill here, otherwise Order's economy still continues to build up. Urcast now with an AUG is going to be the danger man. And again, Grayhound do slow things down just a little bit. And the AUG no longer in possession of Grayhound anymore. Round is looking more over than anything else to go with the CZ at this range. It's going to be tough for him to do a whole lot. Almost. Zeph will save EMAG there. 4-0 for Order.
And 4 alive.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. It's going to help to build the cash up a little bit.
And this is Malta here. You can see he reloads with 14 ammo. I mean, would it have made a difference, do you think?
Perhaps.
You can never really know. I might be reading too much into it.
Do a chat things.
Well, I mean, I definitely no point in actually reloading in a situation like that. But whether it actually makes a difference or not...
like bait out a push kind of thing.
I suppose. That would be 200 IQ.
It's not 200 IQ if you instantly die after baiting out the push that you wanted to cut.
Well, that's true. Speaking of push, Order is doing just that on this CT side. Up long in towards Playground, and towards Fountain.
Had 4 towards A, and then Hats was just playing full retake on the B-bomb side.
Yeah, and Grayhound haven't been able to take advantage of it just yet. Looks like they will probably push on through now, but by that stage the rotation should have come across from Order. Alistair is getting in there. It'll be difficult to get the bomb onto the site and plant it fairly safely here with all the utility that Order have got, as well as you can see incendiaries being thrown in that direction. Malta does go down in short order as well. So 4v2 to hold off the retake here. Grayhound is going to have to be something special from Dexter and Dick Stacey. Dick Stacey and Dexter. The double Ds for Grayhound this time. Not what they need to be.
4 alive again for Order. Look at their cash. So rich. Anyone needs a loan, you know who to ask. It's Zeph. Even though he's under 18.
Yep.
Is he still under 18? I have to check on that.
I don't know.
Alright, here's a pause. Tactical. Is it from Grayhound?
Don't know.
Maybe.
Probably has to be at this point. No reason for Order to be calling attack pause.
Bit of a gimmicky setup pays off pretty well for Order in that last round. In general, been pretty good on the CT side so far. But I don't know if this kind of feels like the same sort of intensity of Grayhound as the last map.
No. How many rounds does Grayhound need here on the T side of Overpass to actually need, to be able to win? What do you think?
Like, they could do it from any margin on this map. That's the thing, right?
0 rounds. 0 rounds pass score for Grayhound. Anything more and they'll be happy.
Maybe not 0. Maybe like 4.
4? Alright.
I would actually say that they can have a decent shot at winning if they get 4 T rounds and then like a CT pistol.
Yep. Well, maybe this is going to be the first of 4. Dexter and Urcast winning a couple of aim duels on different sides of the map. That's going to throw the CT side into a little bit of disarray. It was Grayhound tack pause, by the way. Had that confirmation. And I wonder whether or not that's really made the difference here, or if it's just because Dexter and Urcast hit some nice shots.
I don't really think you can ever kind of know with Grayhound, can you?
Dexter's kill at the start of the round was a wall bang as well. Must have been over toward the B bomb site. As you can see where that CT did die.
Dexter's flanking them through maze. There will be no exiting for Order. They're committed to this. Dexter backstabs. One alive. It's on Hats. Down he goes.
And there's Fabled Pilly play-by-play for you. First round for Grayhound on overpass. And they haven't really let it get too far out of hand like what Order did on their own map choice. It was 7-0 for Grayhound before Order picked up their first. 5-0 for Grayhound here before they got theirs.
Money's pretty cooked for Order now. If they lose this one, they're probably saving. No loss bonus to really lean back on as well, so even if they do save, they will not have a good buy following that. First 2 frags go the way of Order though, so things are going much better for them than the last round. And the nades look weird after this update.
Well, it's a tough one for Dexter to win with. Zeph just sliding up and down that ramp. Sicko's got no friends left.
Brutal.
Did he have any to begin with? That's the question.
Maybe he can make a few if he clutches this.
4 perhaps, but no such luck. 6-1 for Order. Grayhound do have the cash to buy. Just feel like we're going through the motions really at the moment. You know, we're not seeing anything too fancy out from Grayhound.
The problem is it's overpass. So like, I can get excited if like it's another map, but like, even if Order's like heavily leading on this map, after watching them play it and watch Grayhound play it a million times, I don't know how confident I am.
Oh, that's nice from Hats. Does he get traded here though? No, just able to get around the corner into short. He'll recontest the angle. Urcast also falling. And all over the B bomb site, it is just carnage right now. Order have completely locked Grayhound out until Dexter slides his toe through the door. But is that toe going to be chopped off?
Which toe will it be?
Inz's head if Dexter gets the timing right here. Looks like he won't. And again, it's all on to Sicko. They know where he is as well. The no-scope from the AWP misses. That is going to be the round over. Another one for Order.
It's great to see them front-running so much and having such convincing CT rounds. Just doesn't have the same shine to it, though. Knowing that there's not a whole lot to play for, but like bragging rights, maybe. Half buyout from Grayhound. If they're able to chip away at the CT economy a little bit. In's doing his best fur impression, just pushing up long aim by himself and shooting as many T's as he can see. Works pretty good. Have you seen that fur Betway video?
I have.
Oh, what do you think of it, mate?
Wait, which one? The one where he's doing the aim map, or the one where he's trying to guess what Taco's saying?
Oh, you tell me, what's your favorite?
I think the best content Betway makes is the ones where the players have to guess the round. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, I like that. Whose frag is that?
Yeah, whose frag is that, or what round is that, or something. I think those are pretty cool ones.
You got any good content ideas, Jordan?
Nope.
Not at all. Alright. Aggression on this A side of the map from Order. The problem is that they're kind of getting pincered from Con here. In seems pretty well aware of it though.
Secondary AWP ins as well. That's something you see every day. In fact, I mean, is he primary AWP at this point? Because Hats would typically be the secondary AWP. Alistair doesn't even have one. He's got the AUG. Now he's got so many angles to be aware of, but gets the timing on Urcast. And now actually going to be quite difficult to trade for these Grayhound fellas. Stacey does get him actually through the flash.
Excuse me?
That's probably the right reaction. Actually, I have a great content idea. Have you ever heard of the Wheat-Bix Whistle Challenge?
No.
You're gonna love this.
Whenever I hear Jordan Mays say you're gonna love this, I just doesn't fill me with confidence really.
So here's the idea: you have to eat a whole Wheat-Bix piece, and if you don't know what a Wheat-Bix is, look it up for all of our international viewers.
If you don't know what a Wheat-Bix is, why are you watching this Aussie
like,
Counter-Strike
Why
game?
are you watching Australian Counter-Strike? Get out of here. Dick Stacey dies to the incendiary. I'm actually going to cast the rest of this round, and then we'll talk about the Wheat-Bix Whistle Challenge. Just to give everyone that suspense.
Another opportunity to bully Malta.
Well, not if he wins the 2v1. Oh, never mind. Look, I don't even think I need to say anything about that. It speaks for itself. Anyway, Wheat-Bix Whistle Challenge. You eat a Wheat-Bix bick. I don't know what they're called.
A wheat bick.
A wheat bick. And
a bick of wheat.
It's really dry. It's very, very dry. So like your mouth, you're not supposed to eat it with any, normally it's a cereal, right? You eat it with milk. But if you eat it dry, it's going to take all the moisture out of your mouth. And then you have to try and whistle.
Should do that with casters. Try to cast after eating a wheat bick.
I did it at IEM Sydney 2017 with Sniper, but we didn't like record it. It's actually harder than it sounds. You could go like, oh, you just have to whistle. No, not as easy as it sounds. Trust me.
I don't have wheat bix at home. I've got Cocoa Pops, Nutrigrain. I think that's it. What do you think about those?
I reckon Grayhound needs a bit of Nutrigrain.
Maybe.
Iron Man food. They're not looking like Iron Men at the moment here on Overpass. It's actually looking like they might be dead men. They've let their cat take control of the computers. They're partying.
Does he run along the table and...
Probably.
Very fast?
I'm sure that that knowing what cats tend to do, a cat could well do that.
Do you reckon the cat's happy they're qualified for Pro League?
Probably not, because it means everyone's going to leave the house. No one's going to feed the cat. Cast 1-for-1 trade there. Bomb plant still yet to go down, and EMAG right on top of this smoke could be a real thorn in the side of Grayhound if they do try to plant. That's what they're going to do, but EMAG, he hasn't spotted him through the scope. Urcast was hiding behind his scope. So 2v3. Bomb plant goes down for Grayhound. Bit of a crossfire setup for the T side here. Not looking too bad. This is going to be boosted up, makes a bit of noise. Deep Stacey takes first challenge. Malta goes down to Alistair. Round over. No problem. 10 to 1.
People in the chat don't really know what a wheat bix is.
That's why I said Google it. You got to know, otherwise it doesn't make sense.
You know, you know.
And it's not Weetabix or Weebix. It's a Wheat Bix. Come on, guys. W-E-E-T-B-I-X.
Nothing comes up when I Google that. I don't know what to tell you, mate.
Definitely Googling the wrong thing.
I don't know where you've gone wrong, honestly.
It's the #1 cereal in the world. Mix it with Milo. You've got yourself a delicious morning meal.
They already make Milo cereal.
Fiber. Sets you up right for the day.
Nice shot from Ali. Look at that. He even gives him the little flick barrel sort of shoulder peek. Add insult to injury.
Why not?
That's an Alistair special.
Is this an order special here on Overpass?
I'd say it's pretty special. So, I guess so.
Guess so. Will the real Greyhound please stand up?
Oh, they might have a problem here.
Yep, it's looking like it. Someone needs to do something.
Seth, what's going on, mate? Jumping around. Alright, 2 and 2 apiece on the site. No cast. Middle of the seat, in line with the lady's neck. That's a dumpster smoke. Recipe for success. That's not. You know how he lined that smoke up, Jordan?
Yep.
One time I played an official, and when the sprays came out, somebody sprayed over that entire side on the CT side, so when I got there as a T, I couldn't line up my smoke.
That's bullying.
It was.
Cyberbullying.
I got cyberbullied out of throwing my smoke, missed it. There was a one-way in it, and we lost the round.
That's like almost as bad as you not having wheat bix in your house. Almost.
That's fair.
I love how, like, we've literally devolved this entire cast and chat into discussion about cereals. People are calling me out for having Milo on my wheat bix. Guys, if you haven't done that, try it. That's all I'm going to say. 4 wheat bix, Milo every day. And you too can become an esports caster. That's all it takes. A bit of wheat bix. I think Greyhound forgot to eat their wheat bix this morning. At least before they played on Overpass.
Maybe they ate the precise amount that won them train, and now they're just out of energy.
They had like
they need a reload.
1.5 wheat bix. And now, yeah, they're out of energy. Didn't top it with Milo.
Oh my lord.
Inz has done that a few times, pushing into bathrooms, and it's again going to reward him off the back of a flashbang from Alistair, no less. Order just looking like they're taking it pretty easy on the CT side here, and Greyhound is offering absolutely no resistance. Dexter will get one, but Zeph wrapping around the back from bathrooms. If not Alistair to close this round out, it certainly will be Zeph.
Another buy round out from Greyhound. They can't get 4 rounds anymore, Jordan. They can't get it. They can
So
only
is
get
3 enough?
It might be. What do you guys in chat think about this game? Because it's pretty weird to see Order beating Greyhound on their best map.
Yeah, it is.
Like this. Something tells me this, you know, this is not the normal sort of outcome.
No, it's definitely not. Not what I would have expected. I thought this was a 2-0 for sure, and I thought it would probably be 12-1 Greyhound's way, if anything. But I suppose Order at this point are just salvaging some pride. Greyhound really struggling to get any inroads at all into Order. I don't know if... Yeah, look, this is going to sound really bad, but I don't know how much credit you can really give to Order at this point.
It's just a massive asterisk, man. Like, that's kind of just the problem with this format. I've casted every game of ANZ, or rather APAC Pro League, every single game, and in multiple groups. Only the Greater China group was their series that every single game mattered. It was 1-1, 1-1.
Well, I mean,
in
technically
the last
this
day.
game mattered. Technically this game mattered
No,
until
it did.
Greyhound got the first map. And
Every
now
map mattered.
It doesn't really matter.
Every map mattered in that
Yeah.
game.
If
in
Order,
that group, rather.
If Order would have won map 1, then it would have.
This would be an exciting game.
This would be... I guarantee you, if Order wins train, Greyhound's not down 13-1 on Overpass.
No.
No, not a chance.
They're probably up 13-1.
Well, I mean, it depends on how train went, you know, like Order maybe got them. I mean, in this hypothetical world, right? We have no idea, but if Order had like a really great train game, you know, they go off like maybe 16-4 or something like that, they could have possibly put Grayhound under the pump here on Overpass, but I do struggle to suspend my disbelief that Grayhound putting 100% into this game.
Yep, I agree. See if they can double their rounds on the T side. Looking likely.
Looking likely, yeah. That'd be good. Is 2 enough? We said 4. Is 2?
Guess we'll find out, right?
2 and a CT pistol? Might be doable.
You're talking me around, Jordan.
Yeah, you're starting to feel confident. Starting to feel like a bit of Wheat Bix and Milo in the morning.
Maybe.
Or are you going to be a bit of a Nutrigrain boy? Well, that is the first half done and dusted. It's 13-2 in the favour of Order. For Grayhound, if they 2-0, well, they win the series. If Order 2-1s, they still win the series, but they also don't go to Occitani. Grayhound have locked their way in already. We're going to head into the second half here with bated breath, see whether or not we go through to a third map. It's all up to Grayhound.
From the back roads to back streets, I see you foes trying to trap me, but I don't run like a track meet, even though I'm #1 like an athlete. And the way I maneuver around you and through you, I'm coming and I'm bound to pursue you. I'm everything that you knew of, plus more. What's in store is I'm about to get to you. Sleepless nights, better think this twice before you step to me and come and speak with stripe. There's a lesson when you reach my life. It'll be chin-checking and I'll teach you right. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I've seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. See that they won't bring it to me, son. Try me if you want, but won't be any fun. I'll take the challenge. I'll beat anyone. I'm the one. I'll be quite clear. Bow down to no one. I'm right here. I get it in. I don't fight fair. And guess what? I'm your worst nightmare. Cause I ain't taking no losses. And I don't even care what the cost is. Are you prepared for the forces I'm about to bring? Cause I'm the boss of all bosses. I penetrate your thoughts and fill them with doubt. You gon' feel where I'm coming and feel what I'm about. If they come in with the drama, I'm wheeling them out. Cause I ain't about to have somebody here stealing my clout. I keep my friends close, enemies closer. Cause that's the way it is and the way it's supposed to be. Anybody can see there's only room for one, and that one is me. Plenty tried, plenty failed. Too many times I've seen plenty bail. And there will be no surprise what I'm about to do when you are looking through my eyes. See many go, see many come. See that they won't bring.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's ESL Pro League, and we're into map 2 between Grayhound and Order. Grayhound won map 1. They're going through to Occitani. We're really struggling to believe that this second map is on the radar for Grayhound at all. It's a 13-2 first half the way of Order. Maltz messaged me in the break. I said, come on, dude, what are you doing? He said, don't worry, it was just a poor start. We'll bring it back on CT side. What do you reckon?
Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know what I reckon, honestly. Like, it just doesn't really feel like they're playing with 100% sort of intensity like we saw on that train game. I feel like they already know they've qualified, so it's kind of a bit loosey-goosey. When have you ever seen Grayhound get 13-2'd on the T side of an overpass, ever?
Never? I can't remember the last time. Yeah, no idea. No idea. It's very uncharacteristic indeed. And look, I don't want to say like Order's playing poorly or anything like that. They're going through the motions. They're playing pretty well. But I don't think that the result would be the same if Grayhound was putting 100% into this game. I hate saying stuff like that because it really devalues the work that Order's putting in this first half.
They're up 32, and it's just like...
But it does, yeah, it is what it is. I mean, this I think is the odds for the entire series more so than anything else. Yeah. But
okay. Is this going to be one of the greatest comebacks in Pro League?
Is it?
I don't know. Can't think of a really good comeback in some of the other regions. There's been a whole lot of we have been smashed in the first half. We came back to 10 rounds and then lost anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, there we go. Malta making good on his promise to Jordan.
All we need is the CT pistol and it's doable. 2 rounds is too many, perhaps. Order have got just Alistair left for their hopes, and that'll be it. Pistol round goes the way of Grayhound. What more does that leave for us in this second half?
A lot more. So they can get their economy off to a good start, which means potentially some more convincing rounds overall from the lads going forward, because they'll have more utility. Sucks when you don't have that utility, because you don't have that Molotov to throw down. What happens if the other team runs up B? Look at the force coming out of Order. Pretty interesting. Nades going over towards Party. Don't really hit Sicko very much, but they're not going to stop. They're not going to slow down.
Yeah, definitely a lot of damage. Dexter here. Well, he's also suffered quite a bit of damage there. No more Dexter for this round. But it's not going to make a difference. Dick Stacey cleaning things up with the help of Sicko. And another one for Grayhound. So, it'll be eco round for Order now, which puts Grayhound to 5. And then the real work has to start.
Potentially more opportunity to farm up even more cash with the MP9s. Makes it more money. I think all those MP9s are towards the B side of the map, which is not where the Ts are heading. So, unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. Unless the rotation comes out from Malta. Nice run boost out. Gets Hats absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. Look, if you had a Deagle and like landed and hit a headshot there, you know, maybe. But with Glocks, not seeing it happen. Orders into the A bomb site somehow, but it's not going to last too much longer. Pretty crisp stuff actually there from Sicko. 5-13, okay. First gun round of the half. Comeback could definitely happen. We know Grayhound is a very good overpass side. However, I'm not prepared to say that it will just yet. 8th deficit, I'm going to say if we get to somewhere around 13, 10 or 11, that's where I'll start to believe.
Order pretty quick pressure over here towards A. 2 people in con and 1 on bathroom. There you go, the con boost works out. First up for Dick Stacey. E-Man goes down, trade back and forth, but CT's coming out ahead pretty cleanly.
Dexter not able to really calibrate well onto Alistair there. He's been struggling a little bit here on overpass.
There's a mid-round push though from Urcast through Monster. It's going to get him a lot of information. The longer Order waits, the more potential there really is for the CT backstab, but Order's not going to wait. They're going to make their way onto this A bomb site. Malta and Sicko lying late.
Oh, Sicko only has a scout there, but it doesn't really matter. He gets 2 chances and hits both of them onto Zeph. 1 more here onto Inns. He's not going to miss those. 6 up for Grayhound. They've won the sort of half-buy gun round, which bodes really well for them with the money.
The dream start. Half buyout from Order. Loss bonus starting to build up. CZs and armor and just some utility. Looks like Imagine's going for this fast heaven smoke. Molotov onto barrel from Alistair. But they haven't really made it out of this back monster area. Last 2 flushes are what they're relying on to get back into the site, but losing Dexter there, that's not a good look, particularly because there's no trade potential.
Well, you say that, but there's a grenade, and Alistair does go down, so it's 1 for 1. But the grenade Sure, it's going to get the kill. It can't deny the AK going into the hands of one of the Order players, and Zephyr's got it at the moment. So he's going to be the danger man. But CCs and Deagles there as well for Order. Certainly something to play with.
Urquhart's just sitting on this smoke. He's going to throw that towards barrels for the one-way. Then it's going to be a passive site setup here for Grayhound. Flash comes out, Monster, smoke expended by Urquhart.
Play pretty close here with this SMG as well. It doesn't seem like he has too much work to do. Just the one kill onto Inns for him. The others come from his teammates. A nice one from Grayhound to keep 4 guns alive after losing Dexter early.
Very straightforward defense from Grayhound. Stock standard. Done beautifully. Buyout from Order, plus the loss bonus is going to be 1k across the board on everyone but Alistair, who's purchased the big green. Double AWP coming out. Looks like Dexter's probably going to be peeking into Con. Sicko's peeking over this fountain area. Actually, Dexter's falling off the line. So it's just going to be 2 AWPers on 2 different angles on this A side of the map. Trying to find these picks. Spam into Con is working pretty well here for Grayhound.
Uh-oh. HNA goes a little bit awry. Inns has got a fair bit of positioning actually up here on short. Not sure that any of these Grayhound players are going to fall prey to it. I feel as though Malta might have spotted him there as well, and Inns seems aware of that too.
Rotation looks like it's coming out from Dick Stacey now, through Maze back towards this A site. So there's potential here for 3 players on the site with some decent utility. But Dick Stacey actually goes back to B, it looks like. So Dexter and Sicko, double AWPs, some flashes and some Molotovs. What a great timing for Order to hit though.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Sicko really under some pressure here. Going to have to hit good shots, but not going to be given the opportunity. Now it's onto Dick Stacey. He'll double down. Almost a third there onto Zeph. A decent opportunity for the trade on Urquhart, and it's onto Malta. See if he gets some Malta magic. Doesn't need to deny the bomb plant. It's not going down just yet. Is he aware Alistair is up on the top of the box? It doesn't matter. Hats gets the kill. There's 14 for Order. Their first round of this second half. It was looking dangerous. Grayhound were really making quite quick inroads. But Order have got one now.
And all they need is just a couple of blows in. That's it. They don't need anything crazy like a massive T round half. Just need to get a couple of these rounds. That's one of the couple that they need. Full buy up from Grayhound once again. Different setup from the lads. Sicko's going to be AWPing towards that long A area, while Dexter plays in the right side of bathroom, potentially trying to catch someone on an off angle, and then later on in the round, Sicko takes the shot and falls off. They can potentially use utility to re-aggress into long and find more picks in that area.
Well, better stuff from Dexter. He will still retain control of bathrooms. Gets his own incendiary down as well, which is going to stall the push from Alistair. Might allow him to get back across here off the back of this grenade, but in fact he goes straight into the crosshair of Alistair. The grenade doesn't put him off too much. Good shot from Inns. Sicko's also fallen on the A bomb side, and now it's just Malta and Dick Stacey. Obviously very split right now. One of these players has to go absolutely massive right now for Grayhound. And it looks like it's going to have to be Dick Stacey, as Order is making their way in the direction of the A site. Might get the timing here onto Alistair, and does. So now we go back to B. No, we don't. Still no call for the rotation yet from Dick Stacey. Utility goes across. The flashbang just connects a little bit onto EMAC. Wow, what a great entry. I think Order's going to win this map now, Pilly.
Looking like it. Decent money for Grayhound, particularly if Malta holds onto this AUG. Probably only going to be Dexter who really suffers, or maybe Dick Stacey in terms of the weaponry and util. Not going to be a crazy buy, but it'll be serviceable. Enough to give them a chance in the next round, but that's the problem on the comeback on the CT side. if the rounds are getting close, you're not getting good buys in, because every round that you win, instead of getting that loss bonus that you would have had before, you're only getting like 3 to 3.5k, which is just not enough to get a full buy on the CT side, really. Alright. See how well Grayhound can make do. Dick Stacey goes down to the MP9 for utility. Everyone else with an AUG and some grenades. That's good enough to get the job done. But it's a long road back to overtime for Grayhound here.
Yeah. 8 in a row is what they need. They got 5 in a row to start the half off. But just that timing onto the entry on the A bomb side in the first round of the half that Order was able to get. And ever since then, it's really been Order's to lose. Not that it wasn't already.
Last up long. Zico could be the key player at this bathrooms area.
Good indeed. Has been smoked off just a little bit there, but we'll spot Hats. And Malta gets Zeph as well, but Frag starting to come back from Order. Not enough, however. Ins will lose the aim duel against Zico. Grayhound look to be putting one more on the board.
Out the presence towards Toilet to really threaten Zico that a backstab's coming out, or even potentially shoot him in the side or the back. He's just able to free reign, run around in that bathroom area and on the A site. Just clean everybody up. No way he should be allowed to get away with that. Whole push from Order shut down by one man.
Feels a little too late though.
Bit of a weird buyout from Order here. Really favouring a lot of util over firepower.
Let's have something in mind.
What I would think. Not in the early round though. So far, very much is pressure on all parts of the map, but now you're starting to see the pieces of the puzzle come together. Both players that were towards Con and A spamming away, making their way back towards B. You can see no real information in Con or A from Grayhound. They're pretty passive on these angles. So this is the opportunity for Order to close it out here. They've got the setup they want for this execute. Decent utility from Grayhound.
Ooh.
Molly on Dick Stacey. You can see Malta's got the smoke. Urcast's got a smoke as well.
Contender is down late though from Dick Stacey. It'll allow the opener out from Zeph. He's going to get 2 actually. Flashbangs through from Alistair to assist. They haven't cleared Malta out just yet, and it doesn't look like they will. He actually snakes his way through the smoke. He's going to get 2. EMAG and Alistair, and a 3rd as well onto Hats. Ins on his own now. And if not for that push from Malta, the round would have been over, the map would have been over. But Order are going to be left wanting 1 round longer unless Ins does something pretty special. Malta gets an ace, actually. He got all 5 kills in the round. Very well done for him. Keeps Grayhound alive. You know, this would be a pretty disastrous thing if Order allowed this comeback to happen. You know, we talk about the 4 map points that Chiefs had yesterday on Dust 2 against Grayhound.
Yep.
It's been, or will be, 8 if Grayhound secure overtime.
Yep.
They've got 6 to go.
They had an 11-round lead at the half. Ridiculous. Half buy out from Order. Rather just a light investment. Are getting completely sprayed down by Grayhound though. No real information, no real damage inflicted until they find Zico there on party. Every kill matters here for Order, because you can see the money really hasn't stabilised just yet for Grayhound, which on the comeback train is going to present some difficulties for them. Go, Alistair slides out and slaps your girl on the behind.
Okay. What are you going to do about that?
Nothing you can do about that in that scenario, if you're Dexter.
Dick Stacey's not too happy about it. Dick Stacey wouldn't let anyone slap his girl's ass. Actually, he'd probably ask them to slap his too. 10-15. So, 5 now the deficit. Slowly but steadily, they are making inroads. That is for sure, Grayhound. But just feels as though they haven't really given themselves enough room here.
Maybe not.
4 rounds, you know, if, like you said, 4 rounds, I think they might have been in with a good chance. We'd be at 10 to 13 right now if that were the first half scoreline and everything else went the same way. That's enough leeway that you might actually consider Grayhound able to make the comeback happen, but one small tiny mistake here for Grayhound and the map's over.
Pressuring Con with Dexter on the off angle. Just like it would have only been a 1-for-1, but again, Dick Stacey, a bro as ever, is going to bail his mate out.
If I know anything about the Grayhound team, it's that everyone else is a very good bro to Dick Stacey.
Maybe a little too nice at times.
Probably.
Bomb's still in spawn here for Order. So it's nice that they've got short B control and are now just putting some utility pressure on bathrooms, but end of the day, it's not really putting the bomb down on the bomb site and punching in those numbers.
Fought off by the little shoulder around the corner. No worries though. 11 up for Grayhound. One more. Just 4 now to go. And these last few gun rounds have actually looked pretty solid for Grayhound.
But all it takes is that 1 round for Order where they find that timing.
Yeah.
One quick headshot, 2 quick headshots, and that's it.
Zeph was looking a bit scary on that push into B. Alice has been hitting shots with the AWP, though this time he's got a Galil. Well, 15-11, it's a scoreline that Grayhound faced yesterday, and they still ended up winning the map. Definitely would be a nice comeback from them if they got this done here on Overpass, and I think it would really reiterate what we were saying in that first half.
Is the nose flash to send your boys out monster.
Oh. Okay, there you go. Urcast lining a few up, but Malta gets in front of him, and that threw him off a little bit. These players are very, very low. He decides to back down, and Dick Stacey, he hasn't decided to back down. He's gone straight back up. And it's Inns and Emag that really left to try and pick up the scraps here for Order. They've really slowed things down. Bomb is not too easy for Dick Stacey to spot there, but it doesn't matter. The heads are 4 kills for him. 12 now for Grayhound. Probably a save round this time for Order, or just pistols and armor.
Yeah, pistol armor. I would go for.
Now
I feel like that's pretty standard when you get to this 3.7 sort of mark.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, if you're gonna make the AK and armor work, how much more percentage points are you adding if you full invest to the AK armor rather than just have pistols and armor, which can often get the job done and maybe even get you a few extra grenades that you wouldn't have had, set you up in a favorable scenario where you can win. And then if it doesn't go well, it's still blind next.
Uh-oh indeed. If Zeph gets this one onto Urcast, that might actually be enough to win the round. Urcast swings out, but Zeph, he's so good with the pistols. And the trade isn't actually possible for Malta here. He's just a little too slow on the reactions. It's 3v2. Dick Stacey has to do it again. He's been playing well. 28 and 18 now. And the players up long are going to be a little too slow to catch him. He's calibrated his aim. Great shot, though, from Hats. And now Malta has to win the 1v2. Could it actually happen against the Pistols? Oh, dear. Grayhound, they've worked so hard to get back into this, but now Malta needs a 1v2. Inns, at the very least, doesn't have armor, but they know exactly where Malta is coming from. Bomb, not going to be easy for him to defuse here. He's been spotted now. Does get that first shot across. Smoke goes down. Wins the aim duel against Hats. Keeps it alive for Grayhound. Well, Malta, you can slap my girl's ass any day because you've kept it up for Grayhound. 13 to 15.
Careful, we might take you up on that.
It probably will. I hope she's not watching.
I'm pretty sure she wouldn't appreciate that.
No, definitely not.
I can't even picture that, by the way. Just
Malta slapping anyone's ass?
No, just that specific scenario.
Yeah, no, it would never happen. I would never let that. Never in my life let that happen. I'd rather him slap mine.
Ooh. All right. Order. Only 2 more chances here. They will have the money to go for both of them in terms of the buy, even if they do lose this one. I mean, you really have to say, they've had plenty of time to get this right. Plenty of time to come up with a creative solution to get them this last round on the board. And it feels like they put themselves in some decent scenarios, but then Malta happened, and Dick Stacey happened, and sometimes Urcast happens, and what can you really do? That round where Siko's just running around in bathrooms?
Yeah, Malta's actually had a pretty good series so far in terms of getting important rounds.
He was doing that against Chiefs as well. Some pretty good spray downs from him on the CT side.
Oh, Dick Stacey. He's played with fire too many times. It's 4 HP now. Kick out from Dexter. What a perfect flashbang from Siko as well. Smoke goes down. Player advantage now for Grayhound. Very quickly stolen away though as Siko does fall as well. Now it really does rely on Dexter to do something pretty good here. He's gotten one covered well by Dick Stacey. That'll keep him alive. The grenade through lowers his HP quite substantially. But he still persists here by the sign, waiting for Alistair to peek around the corner. There was an opportunity, didn't take advantage of it. 12 seconds now. If Urcast dies to Inns, it opens the round up, but he hasn't. Dick Stacey and Urcast will finish it. Goodness me, we're at 14-15. Could you believe we were going to get to this point when we were down, well, 13-2?
And whoever in chat at 13-2 said, don't worry, overpass CT-sided map kappa. Good on you, mate.
And I just want to point out, my girl is watching, and I'm in trouble. She said no one's slapping that ass, and I feel pretty sad about that, because...
No one. Keyword is
no one. What do you mean, no one? What about me? What about a 16-14? Alistair's opened the round up.
It happened. Order's slowed things down quite a lot. Inns has actually copped himself a leg, I believe. At, where's that? Monster. Maybe a bit of damage from Malta, rather. So Order, still waiting for a push out of Grayhound. Dexter's the real danger player here, as well as Urcast towards short B. These are the two that could really make the difference if they find the right timing to push in the mid-round and get Grayhound this advantage back.
Alistair makes some noise, so Dexter, he's aware. Oh, Urcast does get the shots onto Emag's feet. Dexter still has not moved. It's another nice one for Urcast to win. You talked about it, Urcast happening, and that is it. 2 kills mid-round. Huge stuff from him. Another one, actually, as Alistair challenges as well. It's heartbreak, actually, for Order now, because Inns is a free kill for Dexter. That's the bomb as well.
Lights it on fire. It's BM. Throughout the util, nice one tap from Hats, but Urcast from a 4-on-5 to a 4K and a 15-15 going into overtime.
I can't believe it. They've done it again. They've got it to overtime again.
Trust in Malta. He said, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, he did. It's the one time he's actually pulled it off. Can't believe it. Tell you what, Malta, if you win this, I'll slap your ass. How about that?
Make it sound like a reward.
It is a reward. 15-15. I don't know. Do you, at this point, favour Grayhound? I think you have to.
Yep.
They've decided, you know, enough is enough. Fun's over.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to have a lackluster T side like they did in regulation in overtime. And their CT side has been pretty good.
Pretty good.
They 13-2 there, CT side as well. So I don't think they're going to be dropping any of these OT rounds. Maybe one.
Never know, anything can happen. Hats just runs through a smoke, perhaps expecting the flash. It came way too late. And even then, it didn't actually do anything to Dexter. So, well, I don't know. That's 2 kills for Dexter. Urcast has turned it on as well. Okay.
All right.
Well, that's how you start off the overtime.
I mean, Order, what's happening exactly though? It just seems so disjointed. It feels like Order, they go to place X, and then Grayhound player shoots multiple. Then they go to place Y, and Grayhound player shoots multiple. Then they lose.
Well, that seems like a fair way to sum things up. Nade going to go through there from Sicko. Actually doesn't do as much damage as I thought it might.
Get one of these rounds Order, but they need the entries.
I mean, is one enough though? Like, no,
probably not.
Doesn't seem like it. And I actually don't think they're getting one at this point. Look at the damage that's already been done over to Order as well in this round.
They're still in their little corner of the map.
Yeah.
Like every time they go through short B or connector or bathroom, Urkas or Dexter bullies them. Something they've become quite adept at doing with Malta in their team.
Mm-hmm. Look at this position from Dexter. It's going to be so strong. Once Order start to push their way up, they're making footsteps as well, so he knows what's going on, or at least suspects. Smoke will fade though, and Zeph does catch him with the crouch peek. Had to hit the headshot and did. Zeph on 13 HP. He's actually made it happen. Player advantage right now for Order. But they're not getting into that bomb site too quickly at all. With that said, counter utility's not great for the CT side. And Sicko missing a shot there on the cross as well. Does leave it a bit open here for Order. Zeph sort of half checks the corner. It'll actually allow Dick Stacey the moment that he needs to double down, and Malta's back again. Sicko will finally finish it, but 2 for Malta, 2 for Dick Stacey, and 1 for Sicko. Was there ever any doubt? Maybe just for a moment, but not for long.
Technical pause.
Malta messaged me at the break from halftime. From into overtime, he said, "Winning this for you."
Aw.
That's cute.
Yeah, I think you're too harsh on him.
All I'm going to say is he's looking for a good slapping later on. Next time we go to LAN.
At UNZ.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can make some content out of it.
Oh. Bit of AUNZ content. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Follow us. You can follow us on Twitter for that content, at ElfishGuy. Shameless plug.
For more Wheat-Bix discussions.
For more Wheat-Bix, more slapping.
When are we expecting your cereal tier list video coming out?
Well, it doesn't really need to have a video. It's Wheat-Bix 1, everything else 0.
Not how the tier list works.
They don't exist, in my mind. But if it's not Wheat-Bix, I don't care. Actually, I'm a little bit partial to Sustain. Sustain is quite good.
What a fitting name as well. It'll sustain your cereal craving, but
Yeah.
it's not Wheat-Bix.
It's not quite Wheat-Bix. But it's good for like that evening snack, you know? You ever want to have Wheat-Bix at like 11, but it's Wheat-Bix so you can't? You just have some Sustain. That's what Grayhound's been doing in this map, actually. They've been sustaining through. And it looks like now it's really their game to lose. How many map points was that? 8? 8 for Order?
8 map points, 11 round lead at the half.
Yeah.
A lot of big plays later. Greyhound's here. Been every single one of them as well. All 5 of the lads have had one of those plays.
Yeah, that's true.
These CT rounds.
Dick Stacey's got the 30 bomb as well. Been doing well for himself. Only 18 kills for Malta, but definitely feels as though he's had more impact than that. The kills he's been getting have been absolutely huge. Well, into the bomb site goes Order, and out of the bomb site goes Order.
Bomb is dropped, so they're going to have to make their way back in there at some point. But it's looking like 18 for Greyhound and potentially match point.
Yep. Order just doesn't look like they have an answer right now for Greyhound. Just a few shots into Malta, but couldn't hit the head. And Gives away what Order's trying to do. It means they're still on this B bomb site because you see at least 2 players coming from that boost. Grayhound know exactly what's going on. Wide swing from Urcast gets Alistar. It's on to Hats, who actually finds Malta with the Molotov, but there's too many players. And that's a 3-0 half in the overtime for Grayhound. To mark 8 in a row to come back into OT, so that's 11 in a row.
Don't worry though. CT side of map. Kappa. It's all under control.
That's what we would have said about Grayhound after they got 2 on the first half. 13-2 was the deficit going into the second half, everybody. And Order went to CT side. To T side, I should say. They were from CT side. But, like, they won the pistol too, didn't they?
They won the first pistol. Grayhound got the CT pistol.
Right. Well, I don't think it really matters what happened in regulation time, to be honest. It's been so long ago.
1 point is all Grayhound need to close this out. The last game of this ANZ Pro League.
Yep. And it would mark... Have they actually dropped a map? Do you remember in their group?
No.
Round 1. Undefeated streak in ANZ Pro League. I guess that's what you want to see from your team going over to represent. Inns will start off though. Hats has got an auto sniper. So it looks like Grayhound are going to have to go back to the drawing board here. Plan B, what is that? Urcast? Go kill, is that plan B?
Pretty good one. Imagines actually got the ult. Picked it up off Ali, I'm sure.
It's making a bit of noise here. Sicko gets a free one. Does bring it back to a 3v2. They know where Urcast is though. Emag holding on the line. And Urcast will walk straight into him, trying to retrieve the bomb, I think. So it's on to Sicko then.
All 3 of these CTs right around the bomb. So there's going to have to be some crisp shooting from Sicko. First is given to him by Zeph. He's just walking off in his own world.
Oh, Emag will take the peek at the right time, but Hat's got the kill anyway. Okay, 2 rounds to go still for Grayhound. At the very worst case, they will at least go through to another overtime. So it's not a map loss on the table yet for Grayhound. But it is a series loss on the table for Order. I think at any rate, you have to give some credit to Order for at least making it this close after losing map 1, instead of just capitulating and falling over and dying. Malta, what is going on there? He's just run straight into the B bomb site. It hasn't worked. Hats with the auto sniper, close range, will be traded back by Urcast. Again, 3v2, player advantage the way of Order. And that's going to be increased as well, courtesy of Alistar. 2 players boosted up on the site.
All on Urcast, trying to navigate his way through about 1 million smokes, but they are starting to fade. Double mollies is going to stop him from getting in there. There's a first for him.
You don't want to give Urcast these kinds of opportunities. He's still got a minute to go. You know, so he could be anywhere.
Tries to go for a bit of a spam. The line Ali's posted on, this is going to have to be a shoulder in from Urcast. He's Gonskis.
Yep. All right, 1 to go to take us through to another overtime. That did seem like a bit of a cooked round, though, from Grayhound. They literally ran to the B-bomb site, through the Molotovs, everything. I wonder if this is the one where they just full out execute. No holds barred.
Really an executing kind of team on this map. Ooh, what? I was going to say the double ult was going to pay off for them, but never mind, imagine.
I don't think Stacey will trade back, but Inns is there. And it's a favourable skirmish for Order. 2 for 1.
Could be looking at another OT.
Seems like it. With this one being the Grayhound to start on T side T-side rounds have been very hard to come by today on Overpass, it seems.
Good angle from Hats. Does he have the auto sniper? Of course he does.
Fair bit of utility though for Grayhound. Urcast baits the push, and that's a great frag from Malta. Really nice stuff from Grayhound. Good coordination. Zeph close on short here. They don't seem to be aware of it. Trade needs to come out, and it'll have to come from Malta. In fact, the rest of the round's going to have to come from Malta, and it won't. Inns gets all three. And we're through to another overtime.
Like you said, with Grayhound starting out on the T side, maybe if it has been as one-sided on the T side this entire game, regulation and OT, that will give Order the momentum that they need to actually close it out. Wishful thinking. See if we're going to see some more of that double AWP setup, and we are. Imagine straight into it. Dak on Hats again.
The Dak.
The triple scopes.
We're going to get to see the Dak whack. Actually, that's 4 scopes. Well, 5 technically, but 4 sniper rifles.
Ooh, I didn't see the triple AWP actually.
What is going on there? It's like another quick play from Grayhound. Do they catch them off? Zeph surely gets traded here, but can Malta do any more than that? The flash was decent from Sicko. Alistair gets good timing through from Connector. Malta finding Hats. No chance at a range like that with an auto sniper. B bomb site kind of cracked open, but bomb is dropped on short. Not too easy to retrieve here for Grayhound, especially given the position of Alistair. Well, Urcast has picked it up. And he's going to plant open. Alistair won't connect the shot with the AWP here. Smoke to re-smoke short from Grayhound, and Sicko's got such a nice spot, but Alistair, speaking of, such a nice shot. 2v3 for Grayhound, maybe the one crucial T round that they need. Urcast perhaps to push forward here. Urcast hasn't even been spotted there. Alistair didn't check the angle correctly. EMAG will get him, but they don't know where Malta is. That said, Malta's not in a position really to deny this defuse now, unless he gets lucky with a headshot, which he won't. But we finish off by EMAG. Pretty messy round in the end there. Grayhound do get the bomb down, but can't hold on the retake. If Sicko gets Alistair, I mean, and to be fair, by all rights he should have. Could have been a different round, but here we are, 19-18. Order draw first blood in this overtime.
See if anyone can get a T round on the board in overtime.
Yeah.
Or whether we will be actually here forever.
Infinite overtimes.
Infinite.
Ooh. Well, Inns went down in the meanwhile. That was on long. Alistair gets a chance there against Urcast, but it'll go begging. Sicko looking to trade. This is very weird the way that they've been peeking Alistair in this round.
That's the classic though, round 2 of 6 of second overtime. Things do tend to get a little bit sloppy.
How's Dick Stacey on the A bomb site? He must have just ran up long.
Yep. I mean, they picked in on long, right?
They did.
They knew where Ali was. Held W.
Or could this be the elusive round?
I think so. Looking good.
Yes, it is indeed. Dick Stacey looking good as usual as well. What a handsome fella. Getting 3 in the round. Good stuff. And, well, Alistair's been impressive here for Order individually, but in a 1v3, I don't give him too much hope. There it is, 19-19. So, is one enough on the T side, or do we look for 2 here as Grayhound?
Who would probably seal it?
You would think that, right? But you would also think a 3-0 start on overtime would also seal it. And that didn't. No crazy AWP auto sniper strategy from Order this time. Sicko's going to go straight through that incendiary, try to get the angle onto long early again, which he has been able to do. Inz is not going to make the same mistake twice this time, not peeking.
Altus is putting util pressure over towards B, keep the CTs honest in terms of the rotations and using the util.
Stacey's found Inz, and he's got nowhere to go. Straight into the crossfire. That's a very nice setup from Grayhound.
And disadvantage, not looking good for Order. Could be looking at this 2-round lead heading into their CT side. Might be enough.
Oof. I don't know who's luckier there to get away with their life, Urcast or Alistair. It's a nice position in the late round from Zeph here, but the flashbang through is good. It'll fully blind him. He's not spotted yet. Urcast gets the kill on Do. Alistair on the side, and they have a sneaking suspicion of where Zeph is. He's the last player alive. Not a single one actually lost for Grayhound. 20 and 19 now. 2 to go for Grayhound. It's been a long time coming, this win on Overpass, if it is what we are going to get. Well, I guess for either side, it's been a long time coming.
See if they're going to go for as many scoped weaponaries as Order, not including the Augs. But I wouldn't really count on it, because Grayhound pretty damn good with those Aug rifles, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, Order. Haven't really had too much luck on their T side. Got 2 rounds in regulation, they've got 0 in OT. They have to turn it around now because Greyhound's finally got something working for them in these last couple.
They've broken the T side curse. That, I think, is what they were trying to do at the start of last half. The flash through the smoke with hats, but this time it's actually eventuated with the exact same result.
Yep.
That is 2 kills for Grayhound and not anything for Order.
Again, just 2 players diving through the smoke, trying to be aided by utility.
Well, last time the utility didn't come. This time, at least the utility was there, but it made no difference. Alistair at least is going to get Dexter, so that evens the odds somewhat.
Bomb's still in spawn though, so it's nice they're making progress up bathrooms and into short B, but again, they need to punch in the numbers.
It's a pacifist approach, Pilly?
Perhaps. So far, all the deaths in this round lead me to believe probably not.
Oh, that is a good shot from Zeph, but an equally good one from Sicko to not only keep himself alive, but to keep Grayhound with their nose in front in the round. 40 seconds here for Order. They have to go back and retrieve the bomb, so Inz on a bit of an expedition. Walter's up here on the site now as well. Alistair's going to walk right into his crosshair by checking back. So there we go. 1 player left alive now. 19 seconds for Inz to try and make some magic happen, but there we go. Again, it's just Malta. Malta magic.
Nice visor.
Yep.
Protect your eyesight. Very important.
Oops.
Look at this. Look at these hoons.
These idiots. You get the 40 bomb for Dick Stacey in the map.
Those shoulders.
Don't you run like that?
Alright, well, Order now. Looks like instead of forcing things towards A, putting pressure on A and Connector and now making their way back towards this B site. Jumps what comes out. Dick Stacey's seen it all.
Yeah, he really was enjoying doing that on the CT side and also spamming through into Connector. I think that's part of the reason we haven't really seen Order trying to do a whole lot in Connector in these overtimes. Into the B bomb site they go, though. Malta will spot the first. It's actually Dick Stacey with the incendiary to find it, and this looks like it finally might be the end of Overpass. It's just Alistair left alive now in a 3v1. Grayhound have worked so hard to come back from that 13-2 deficit. And they're still going to be left wanting for a moment. Dick Stacey goes down too. But look at this. Dexter has got a HE grenade. It's missed. He's already thrown it in. Didn't wait for the bomb plant.
An info to Alistair, who still hasn't recovered the bomb, but should have a good idea of where Dexter is.
4 HP though, it's going to have to be a very, very nice shot from Alistair. Or very good timing / positioning.
Pretty smart from Alistair. He's trying to play with Dexter, who may assume that this is a walk back to the A bomb site. Dexter's just going to go for a little bit of an in-between play. Wait for the bomb plant sound on either A or the B site. Play it accordingly from there. Throw down the smoke on the bomb on the A site, throw it on the bomb on B or on short B, and just cut down the angles that he needs to worry about. But he won't even need to do that, doesn't look like.
He's missing the shots. There we go. Took a little while for Dexter, but he gets it done. And the same for Grayhound.
There you go.
And that
lose
is
a map in the whole Pro League.
Yeah, and that is also, without a shadow of a doubt, going to secure their place in Occitanie. If there was ever any question after map 1, which we believe was actually the one that really put them through to Occitanie, a 2-0 today for Grayhound does mean that, yeah, they're going through to Occitanie. They are going to be the ANZ representative in the global finals.
A very deserving one at that. They've just been rock solid in domestic competition, so they deserve all these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Pilly, we're going to take a quick break. We do have the post-match analysis coming up after this. Alrighty, well, 2-0 today for Grayhound, 2-0 pretty much every day for Grayhound. It seems like a standard day at the office here at the ESL Pro League. That marks the end of Season 9 for us here in Asia and ANZ. And we know that it's going to be Tyloo and Grayhound now through to Occitanie, and obviously our representatives from Asia. I think those are two very worthy representatives. I mean, there was obviously questions about MVP going up against Tyloo, how that matchup would play out. Grayhound, I feel like, had a bit more going in for them heading into these matches, and both have actually managed to secure their place anyway.
So I think it's sort of a similar sort of story, maybe a little bit different for Tyloo, as they've looked a little bit shakier domestically than Grayhound have. But I feel like it's kind of similar in the state that you look at both teams heading into this international competition who have both struggled recently, at least with this iteration of their rosters, compared to the heights that they'd hit with their older mix-ups of players. And we will see if this is going to be either of those teams hitting a new height coming out of this, weaker domestic regions into the Tier 1 of competition at Pro League finals.
Yeah, definitely hoping to see Tyloo be able to recapture that. And I suppose Grayhound to continue the good work, the good groundwork that they've been laying when they've gone against these sort of more international competitions. When they did go to Katowice, they had a pretty good run there, I thought. IEM Sydney, a pretty decent run again from Grayhound. Is there going to be like a breakout performance from them here at ESL Pro League in Season 9? They've had a lot of opportunities so far this year, but they've never really been able to really push the issue. I don't know if it's really fair for me to say that I think that they'll be able to do that. But there's always the chance. Definitely was a nice comeback here on Overpass from Grayhound, and a pretty interesting game to take a look at it. Quite a few strange rounds coming out on both fronts, but Grayhound obviously having that mental fortitude. I think there's no questions about that anymore, which is pretty good to see. Not that there really ever was around Grayhound, but I think just in general in the ANZ scene, it used to be a very big problem when a team would get down early. They wouldn't really be able to come back into it. But Grayhound certainly shown multiple times that they're able to do that. They faced 8 match points or map points here on Overpass, and 4 yesterday on Dust 2 against the Chiefs, and they won both of those maps. So I think that's really good to see from Grayhound, and what bodes well for them in the future, I suppose.
So many of these individuals can pull off some magical plays even when they're down at a deficit, even when they're under a little bit of pressure. They can come through with the goods and really make it happen for Grayhound, which is why they're a bit of a fan favourite and one of the teams that we love watching.
Yeah, definitely a fan favourite for multiple reasons. I'm excited to see how they're going to go in Occitanie. We obviously have to talk about the player of the day as well, though, Pili. And today that is going to go to Malta, who we talked so much about on that broadcast, particularly on Overpass. Had a great round here, getting 4 kills, actually pushing through to really save the round, it felt like, for Grayhound, because Order was getting into the bomb site there. Alistair and Emag had good positions. Hats as well. Like, they were all deep into the site, but Malta jumping through that smoke next to toxic barrels, saving the round. And you needed to see plays like that out of Grayhound if they were going to make a comeback come from an 8-round deficit when you're facing map point.
Yeah, plenty of their players really stepped up. You had Siko having some good rounds. All of the lads really had some good rounds. I would have to say the person that put the nail in the coffin for me, though, to make sure they went through to Occitanie was definitely Urcast, playing so well on Train, a map that they haven't played a whole lot of recently. But I have to say, look, Order didn't put up much of a fight, but seeing some of their T-side strategies, there was definitely some gaps in their gameplay on CT here and there that maybe they could sort of fine-tune with a little bit more reps in on the map. But their T-side looked reasonably solid. I liked the way they were sort of running around on their anti-ecos and making things happen.
Well, we've been talking quite a lot about the results and what they mean for today and for the season finals. There can be no question now that it is Grayhound to go through. 2 wins, 0 losses here in the ANZ region. If Atletico did actually end up playing their games, I dare say it would be 3 wins and 0 losses for Grayhound. They haven't looked like they've had any problems really domestically speaking. Sure, they've dropped maps here and there. They've had closer maps here and there. But they haven't really dropped the series in a very, very long time. At least not in a situation that actually matters. We've seen them drop series here and there, but generally in less high-stakes games. And I think that is really, again, just credit to Grayhound. They've built a very, very strong roster, been able to stay together for a long time. When they have made roster changes, they've been able to bring a good player into their roster that has, generally speaking, aided their conquest, I will say, here in ANZ. And they've now secured their place through to the finals in Occitanie alongside Tyloo. Many a time we've seen Grayhound and Tyloo be the representatives from this region. But I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do at Occitanie, and I'm also very excited to see how things are going to go when we get to Season 10 of ESL Pro League. Big number.
Definitely going to be interesting. I think it's going to be cool to see where they kind of get seeded, especially teams like Tyloo and Grayhound, who maybe, particularly if they run that seeding system where teams sort of seed each other, they might actually end up not being last seed, whereas if you'd seen maybe a team like, I don't know, let's just throw like Order even, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe Lucid Dream makes some kind of a weird run. Maybe some of the international teams will just see them dead last. And then as we've seen from a team like Lucid Dream who's qualified for like Dallas and stuff like that, then you play like Team Liquid in the first round and you want to pretty much shoot yourself. And Yeah.
You don't have to shoot yourself.
They do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to do it for you. Who knows how the seeding is going to play out? What we do know is we're going to wish the best of luck to Grayhound and Tyloo as they go to Occitanie here in Season 9 of ESL Pro League. That is it from us here in the Asia Pacific region. Thank you very much for sticking with us throughout the entire season. My name has been Elfish Guy. That's been Pilly. We'll see you next season.
Insistent to be small.